if you have your video on, you can switch it off, please. And also just to confirm that you can see my screen.
We can see your screen, sir, and we can see your video. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, we
All
can
right,
see your
good
screen.
morning. Okay, thank you. Okay, so Happy New Year to everyone. It's lovely to be starting another year again. And I know we have different people here for different reasons. Whether you are here to continue your ACCA journey, or whether you are here to start your ACCA journey, or maybe whether you are here exploring different options and you're yet to make a decision. I welcome you all. So this is our open day. We will aim to keep this within 2 hours or 2 hours 30 minutes at the maximum. So I'm budgeting for an extra 15 to 20 minutes beyond 11 a.m. Nigerian time. And while I've been saying good morning, I know there will be some people joining us from different locations as well. So whatever the time zone is at that time, I hopefully respect that. So today we are my name is Sheyi Oshibolu. I am a director at Ivy League and one of the tutors as well. And I'll be going through this open day with you, together with some of my colleagues that you're going to be meeting as we proceed. So we'll be looking at a little bit about us, the ACCA qualification. As you may know or may not know, depending on the situation, the ACCA qualification requires 3 E's. The 3 E's are the exams. So obviously, getting through the exams, getting through the practical experience requirement. So the experience is also a requirement to get the designation. And then the last one is the ethics module, which is an online, learning session that everybody aspiring to be a member of ACCA needs to pass effectively or get through. We'll also be talking about the Oxford Brookes BSc in Applied Accounting, which you can earn, along with your ACCA papers, and, how we provide support to students in that area. And then as well, Diploma in IFRS is one of the qualifications by ACCA for those who want to improve their knowledge and application of international financial reporting standards. And one area I'm so excited about as well is our panel discussion. So we have a couple of guests that will be joining us.
Please, you're not very loud. We can't really hear you that well.
Is that the case for everyone?
No.
No.
I can hear
No,
you.
not at all.
No, can hear you.
All right,
Yes.
thank you. So maybe you want to check your device. Thanks, everyone. So guest speakers will join us, and then we would also have our students, past students and current students also share their experience, having received lectures at Ivy League. And perhaps not just about Ivy League, but also how they were able to excel and how they were able to finish their exams, become members, and things like that. The most exciting thing to me today is our new big idea, which is our blended learning approach, which is radically changing how we deliver lectures, going forward. And I think you will love it. Okay. And then we would have the time for questions and answers at the end of the session. And then there will also be Q&A at some point as well throughout the open day. So just a little bit about Ivy League. Ivy League started in 2013 officially. But obviously, the founders and some of the senior tutors have been teaching for several years. I think I've been teaching ACCA qualification for over 15 years, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. But more importantly, the school grew from, becoming a registered learning provider, registered by ACCA. Based on our pass rates, we moved to silver. From silver, we moved to gold. And in 2017, we achieved the highest level of accreditation possible anywhere in the world, which is Platinum Approved Learning Partner. And that's a demonstration of our unrivaled pass rates. It's a demonstration of our commitment to ensuring that our students are successful in their exams, and also, the level of support we provide throughout that process. We work with several approved employers, particularly the big four firms, where we train their staff, and also help ensure that, they meet the firm policies, perhaps related to getting qualified before getting to certain level within the firm. I think another thing that describes us is that continuous reevaluation of what we do, the services we provide, and how we ensure our students are satisfied periodically. And I think one of it, was in the past, the transition to online lectures, and even with face-to-face lectures for some papers for those who were interested in face-to-face lectures. During COVID in 2020. As you remember, all that started in the middle of March, somewhere around that time in 2020, and we were already in session where we were only providing, face-to-face lectures, and we were able to manage the transition effectively. A few years back as well, we changed our strategy around revision, giving students more time, finishing lectures early and all of that. And as I've just said, we've taken a second look at, all these things again, and decided to fine tune it to make it something, more flexible, much more better, for you. You are really the focus in this whole thing. At the end of the day, what we want to ensure is that our students who seek to write ACCA exams and receive their lectures through us, pass those exams. And no doubt you have a role to play in that process. But then it's also our responsibility to guide you accordingly. We have a lot of tutors. We have a lot of experienced tutors. I think they are the backbone of, why the school is successful. And, they're always there, committed to ensuring that our students, get the best out of their lectures. Now, please, if you've got any question at any time during this session, please just take note of those questions. We'll be pausing at some point, to take some questions before moving on to other areas as well. Now, so let's quickly talk about the ACCA qualification. And remember, I said 3 E's, which are exams, the experience requirements, practical experience requirements, and then the ethics module. So if you are new to ACCA, you can pretty much see ACCA in 3 big stages, right? So starting from the very foundational stage, you will typically require, and I'm going to be applying that to what applies mostly to our environment. So you will typically require a BSc, or if it's not a BSc, so BSc gets you started from the applied knowledge level that we can see here. But then if you don't have a BSc, you have 5 credits in, in WAEC results, or the West African Examination Council. I think that's why. So, and that includes maths and English. You can start at the foundation level. So it's so important that you can see that the entry points into the, ACCA qualification, starting the exams are so dynamic, so easy, pretty much anyone who has been able to complete their secondary school exams can start. And to be honest, even those that are still in secondary school, there's still an avenue for them to start, which are, much lower foundational papers. But typically we train students from the foundation level or applied knowledge level. Foundation and applied knowledge are broadly the same in terms of the papers you need to pass and the content of those papers. So typically those papers will border around management accounting, financial accounting and accountants and business, and which are areas that pretty much helps to solidify basic knowledge of accounting and management accounting and what accountants do in business. So if you know someone who you feel, oh, I mean, this guy is just fresh off secondary school, I mean, it's a good time to start ACCA, while awaiting university admission, or maybe has just been admitted to the uni and feel it's viable to combine this with ACCA, I think, it's a good place to have a conversation. So whether you start from the foundation level or you start from the applied skills level, as I said, you have to write 3 papers. Those 3 papers, the exams are available on demand. What that means is you can sit the exam anytime you believe you are prepared to sit and pass the paper. Interestingly, Ivy League has been licensed by ACCA to conduct, on-demand exams for those papers. And that includes one other paper as well at the applied skills level. So the applied skills level is the next level. And in the applied skills level, students are generally expected to take 6 papers. But I must emphasize that some people, depending on the nature of the degree they have, they get exempted from, knowledge level and even some papers at the skills level. For some people, again, as I said, depending on the nature of the degree, for example, having a BSc in accounting from a well-recognized university, you may be exempted entirely from all the applied skills paper. Perhaps maybe if you earned your you have a UK degree, for example, in accounting. Please help mute your mic. So at the applied skills level, you have 6 papers. Corporate and business law is also available on demand, but every other 5 paper that we have here are written through session CBEs. Just a gentle reminder, all ACCA papers are computer-based exam across all levels. So from performance management down to financial management, those are session CBE exams written in March, June, September, and December. At the end of the applied skills level, you are entitled to write your BSc Oxford Brookes, BSc Applied Accounting by Oxford Brookes University, a well-known UK university, to write your research and analysis projects and, other related submissions that you have in order to earn the BSc. But obviously at the time of registering for ACCA, or at least before writing some minimum papers at applied skills level, you should have indicated interest in, wanting the BSc. You are also expected to complete the ethics module just before you start your strategic professional level, or as you are doing your strategic professional level papers. So that's the highest level here. At the strategic professional level, you have essential papers that every student must take. So that's strategic business leader and strategic business reporting. And then you have the optional papers where you are to select any 2 that is of interest to you, or maybe you think you can yeah, you stand a higher chance of passing those papers. So it could be advanced financial management, it could be advanced performance management, down to advanced audit and assurance. So students will normally consider their performance at the applied skills equivalent, their interest in the paper, and then maybe what they want to pursue in terms of their career. So if you want to be an investment banker, for example, you absolutely have to do advanced financial management. And then if you love audit, or maybe you're an auditor or you believe you did very well in audit and assurance, then you may want to select advanced audit and assurance. If you're a tax professional, advanced tax is probably something you want to look at. And then on completion of this, you are also entitled to earn a master's degree from the University of London. You'll get some exemptions from some of the modules. You do a few modules, do your projects, and you have a master's in professional accountancy from the University of London. And interestingly, there are other universities as well across the world, particularly in the UK, that also grants various exemptions from several modules for people that are members of ACCA who wants to do a master's, for example, in financial management or other related courses. So that's pretty much the step across the ladder in terms of completing the ACCA exams. And remember, depending on the qualification you have, you may be joining at different levels. Again, don't forget to note those questions. We will take them at some point. So this is an illustration of a student that actually completed their ACCA when the student was 19 years of age. So started pretty much, I could remember the parents bringing him into our premises a few years back then and saying he's just fresh out of school, he's done very well in his WAEC results. I just want him to start with this, pending when he gains admission to uni. And then he enrolled for foundational papers, FIA papers, Foundation in Accountancy, wrote the 3 papers, is sharp, doesn't have so many things he's thinking about. So he was focused on his exams. And then, moved to the skills level, moved to the professional level, and then got his BSc, got his, ACCA while he was still in, I think maybe even 200 level or so. So, I mean, it's always doable. And then again, regardless of the stage at which you join, we are always happy to support you. The other E is the ethics and professional skills module. As I said earlier, this is a web-based learning. There's a test at the end of the learning, which students need to pass. You can do it as many times as you need to get the passing score. It will help you demonstrate and apply ethical and professional behaviors in real-world work situations. So what ACCA has done is to say, beyond what you have learned in your exams, beyond the papers that you have passed, what are some of those ethical and professional issues that you are likely to face in a real life environment, and how are you going to deal with that? Okay, so let's say, for example, your boss is asking you to do something unethical, or you identify some form of unethical practices or illegal practices going on within the business. How are you going to handle that? How are you going to ensure that it does not tarnish your image or that you protect the reputation of our profession? So these are some of the things you're going to pick out, including digital skills as well, amongst other professional skills that are included as part of the learning. It should take approximately 15 hours to complete, and there's a one-off fee to be paid for that. It's absolutely recommended that you do the ethics and professional skills module before you start sitting your strategic professional papers, or at least at the minimum as you sit those papers. Then the last E is the experience. So that's the practical experience requirement. So if I've done my exams, I've done the ethics module, am I a member of ACCA? Not exactly, you're not. you are what we call an affiliate member. Okay, so there are three. There's just one membership of ACCA, and that's when you've been admitted to membership, and that's when you can use. And that is when you can use the ACCA designation beside your name. Okay, beside your.
You have been
I
muted.
think you're muted.
Your microphone is muted, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I was saying that the experience requirements, yes. So I was saying we have future members, which are students. We have affiliate members, which are those that have completed their exams, ethics module, but have not, applied for membership. And then we have the full members, who are people that can use the ACCA designation after their name. Generally, the practical experience requirement follows about 5 steps. Okay, I'm not going to be going into the details here. You will see the screenshot I have just beside the steps. If you are interested in knowing more about this, how to get through the process, you've got questions around the process, just search that webinar hosted by ACCA on YouTube, which is your roadmap to ACCA membership. It's nearly an hour video explaining the process, where they've also taken on a couple of questions. And if after doing this, you still have some questions, or you believe you have some unique circumstances or situation, and you want to have a conversation, we're definitely here to guide you as well. So typically it starts with ensuring that you identify and gain relevant experience that can help you target performance objectives. So ACCA has identified essential and optional performance objectives. Essential objectives, everybody has to tick those objectives, while the optional objectives are those that are more specific to your line of career. So for example, if you're a tax professional, or if you're a business strategist or a consultant, if you're an accountant, for example, or you're an IT professional, we have performance objectives that are more closely aligned with your career or the work you do. As part of that process, you also have to ensure you have a supervisor. So a supervisor or workplace supervisor is someone who will be able to do two things. One, help you to ensure you gain the relevant experience and verify that you are gaining the relevant experience. Two, help you sign off your performance objectives, okay? Because they have to independently sign off that they do believe that you have met this performance objective, okay? Now, typically the workplace supervisor should be a member of an IFAC recognized body. So it could be a member of ACCA or a member of another professional body recognized by the International Federation of Accountants. Usually easier if it's a member of ACCA. Now, you then have 36 months, which is 3 years, to target and achieve and sign off these performance objectives. Now, the 36 months could relate to experience you have even gained before you started ACCA, or while you're doing your ACCA, or after, or a combination of the three. So you've got people that have 36 months or even more years of experience, but maybe they've only been able to target 5 of, maybe 7 performance objectives that they are meant to tick, for example. And then you have some people that have worked for just 2 years, 24 months, but they've already achieved all the performance objectives. They would only need to add 12 months more in order to make it 36. So it's got to be 36 months, and you have to have signed off those performance objectives. Then you should start recording this as early as possible, so that the moment you finish your exams, finish your ethics module, you can be invited to membership. Again, as I've said, you can definitely look for that video on YouTube and, view it. Other related qualifications. So, yes, if you've got questions, please, you can raise your hand as well. We're going to take questions shortly related to the things I've talked about. But if you have questions, you can just raise your hand. So we're going to look at the ACCA diploma in IFRS, right? So we have several certifications by ACCA, and I think for those who are probably already done with their ACCA exams, or you're looking to explore other things, you should check that out on ACCA's website. Aside, a diploma in IFRS, you also have other certifications, some in, data analytics, business analytics, some in sustainability related issues or ESG related issues. You have various, some in financial management as well. You have various certifications like that ACCA has in place, but we particularly train towards earning the diploma in IFRS. And as you know, IFRS is a financial reporting framework, and generally the most adopted financial reporting framework in the world. So knowledge of IFRS makes it, quite easier to transition from one country to the other. Where IFRS has been applied is applied in well over 100 countries across the globe. So who is this for? Professional accountants with, say, for example, ICANN qualifications or any other accounting qualification in this case. Auditors, tax consultants, finance leaders who wants to brush up their knowledge of IFRS. So maybe you've just transitioned into a core finance or accounting role, and you want to have a clearer understanding of the facts behind the numbers and how to interpret the numbers, how to interpret the accounting requirements that led to the numbers that you review. Then you should be thinking about this diploma in IFRS. Okay, so it's a one-stage, one exam you have to write, 3 hours computer-based, written in June and December. There's a one-time registration fee of £36 with supporting documents to demonstrate that you have the relevant work experience required. And then the passing score is just 50%, as always. And, as I've said, it's a one-off examination that is to be made after the initial registration has been done. I think the fee for the exam is about £135, something in that region, not exactly sure. But yes, that's what it is. The other one is the Oxford Brookes BSc in Applied Accounting. Again, we will be having an open day specifically dedicated to OBU. Those of you who are interested and whom you think, you are already getting to the stage where you will need to, write the Oxford Brookes BSc in Applied Accounting project to end that. We're happy to, have more conversations around it. So you can register for the open day on 17th February 2024, and that will be taken by, Tutu and our team. Tutu is one of our senior tutors. She leads the mentorship team. So they are sets of registered, certified Oxford Brookes mentor who guide students through the project and the things they need to do to have a very good grade from the project. So you would remember that the OBU is a partnership between Oxford Brookes University in the UK and the ACCA. It's been running for several years. You also need to know that it's about to end. That relationship is about to end while ACCA is exploring other options. But this is about to end. I think it's ending maybe in 2016, 2026 or so. So if you are really interested in this, or you are interested but you've neglected it for some time, it's best to get it out of the way before that relationship, ends. When do I enroll? When you are registering for ACCA, what is required to end the degree? Pretty much, your ACCA papers is the score you earn from your ACCA papers. And at a minimum, you must write, even if you are exempted, from financial reporting, audit and assurance, and financial management. So at a minimum, those papers must be taken. So they will aggregate the scores from the skill level papers, and that will typically be the basis, together with your results of your project, will be the basis for your degree classification. So other information around how much do I pay to OBU and our fees regarding mentorship as part of this process, which is required, getting the sign off from the OBU mentors we have, all of that will be dealt with during the open day. How long does it take? It can be as short or as long as you want it to be. This is a project, so you are the driver. You only need, someone to guide you through the process. And when you face certain challenges, you need someone to talk through. But the thought process, the research, the putting down your work, it's all on your side. So this can typically take 3 months. It can typically take 4 months. It can take more than that. Why do I need to enroll for OBU mentorship at Ivy League? I think the first thing is really the experience. Okay, we've been doing this for several years. And then also we have certified mentors as well. And then also the attitude of supporting students, so it's just one thing to say, oh, this is what you have to do, and, you just go do it yourself. What our mentors sometimes do is they not only do they have 3 meetings with you throughout the process, they also get to a stage where you do the presentation. At the time you are meant to make a presentation on your skills and learning from the process, or key skills and learning statements that you're also supposed to submit. So you make a presentation to them. They tell you some of the things you need to improve. They also help you review your project and, give you some recommendations on some of the things you need to work on to ensure that you're on the right track. For example, things like referencing your work, and the way you've gone about your analysis and conclusion. All right, and as I've said, the relationship is between ACCA and OBU, and there's a termination date that have been set for that. Again, more information 17th of February, so please prepare for that. All right, so before we move on to our guest sessions, I think we are able to take a couple of questions, and then we can check whether we have all our guests in. So manager, so just help me confirm privately whether we have everyone in. Richard, I can see your hand up. Can you go ahead with your question?
Oh, thank you. I am really proud of this kind of sessions that you came up with, particularly for some of us who are just new in ACCA. I really want to ask if the ethics module, which you have said is very relevant for being a member, whether it is also applied to ICANN members who are writing the strategic level, that's the professional level. And secondly, too, for the CBE exam, some of us qualified as a chartered accountant, as ICANN members who qualified many years ago. So now the CBA platform has been what is in vogue now, what is in vogue. I am also asking if your tutors will be able to take us through the process of using this platform efficiently. That is my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So first is, do I need to do the EPSM module? And next is CBE platform. Okay, so I'll just take a couple of questions in batches. Veronica, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So my question is this: for someone who have BSc in economics, right? What exam or what level would the person start writing from? Is it the applied skilled or applied knowledge?
Okay. So our manager will definitely answer that. I see the hands are increasing now. So Richard Akinwumi, your hand is up. You can ask your question.
Okay, so you shared the diagram earlier, the first one you did, about the ACCA journey and all the exams we have to complete. I wanted to ask, for each level, does it have a separate certificate that will collect, or because they are all pointing to ACCA certificate at the end? I wanted to ask if it's just one, or does each level have its own?
Yeah, actually, you have a certificate you get, for example, on completing the skills level. If you can see what I am highlighting here, you get the ACCA diploma in accounting and business. Okay, and some use that certification even at the foundation level as well. On completion, there's also a certificate you get. You know, and those things are sometimes very useful for whether it's a job application as evidence of your progress, or whether it's you know, someone who is trying to demonstrate that they have achieved certain levels of education related to maybe relocating to some other countries. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. All right. So let me take the ones we have for now. So the EPSM module, yes. So whether you are already a chartered accountant, so you got ICANN, for example, you still have to do it before you can be a member of ACCA. Okay. So, and to be honest, I sometimes even say, if it was not a requirement, the learning is so good, so beautiful that, you know, you should do it. Very interactive. It's not a boring session, you know, very real life, very practical. So you will still have to do it in any case. CBE platform. Yes, absolutely. So let me explain briefly how that works. Every question, everything you're going to answer in your exam is based on a CBE platform. You would have spreadsheets, you would have word processors that you can use to present your answers, right? And then where you have complex formulas, sometimes the complex formulas are already embedded. For example, students doing advanced financial management, there's the Black-Scholes model. The formulas are already embedded in spreadsheets, which you can use. The calculator is also there. You can also use your own calculator as well. Now, our tutors, so two things. We have resources produced by ACCA that we're going to signpost to you. For those who are not used to, maybe you're writing ACCA for the first time, that will guide you through how to use the CBE platform, okay? A single video that will show you that process. But then more importantly, our tutors solve questions in the classroom using the CBE platform, or sometimes they use Microsoft Excel, which is quite similar to what you have on the CBE platform. The reason why we sometimes use Microsoft Excel is because when we finish solving a question, we want to be able to send it to you so that you can also track the formula and see, you know, how the tutor went through the entire thing. The limitation currently is the platform provided for, what's the name? The CBE platform provided by ACCA, which is TestRich. Sometimes when you finish solving a question, you can only PDF it to send it to student. Obviously, the moment you PDF, it's going to be difficult to track the underlying formulas for the numbers you can see. So sometimes you may see your tutor use the TestRich, that's the CBE platform, or use Microsoft Office products, but they are largely, similar, as long as you are not, putting pen to paper and assuming that that's what you're going to face in the exams. But definitely revision is often focused on using the CBE platform. And we have introduced some things this year as well, which I'm going to be talking through, which will enhance, that practice of using the CBE platform before you get into the exam. Manager, are you able to take the question on BSc in economics and the level of exemption?
Okay, so with BSc in economics, you will be starting from knowledge. However, one of the papers at the knowledge level will be exempted for you. That's business and technology.
Okay, all right, beautiful, thank you. Okay, so we take 3 more questions. I don't know if this is another Richard or whether it's the mission. Yeah, so Richard, go ahead.
No, this is Victor that is interrupting you. Is it okay?
Oh, Victor, hi, how are you?
Yeah, just to respond to the last question on economics, manager has said what is absolutely correct, 100%. I just want to add that if that person is new to ACCA, that should not be a source of discouragement to you at all. In fact, many of our best performing students globally and in Nigeria come from such backgrounds as economists, even some science backgrounds like microbiology and things like that. And they even often finish faster because they have the advantage of not knowing something before, and so they are able to concentrate better. So it can actually work to your advantage. And that applies to everybody that is from non-accounting background. So that's what I think I should just add in for you. So it's not about the perception, it's about the opportunity that it gives you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So that is Victor Ayola. Victor Ayola is the Education and Learning Manager within ACCA in Africa. So is definitely someone on top of the entire process. All right.
Good morning, sir.
Richard, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was greeting him.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tosin. Oluwatosin, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Though it can be louder.
Okay. I'm using a Bluetooth device, so maybe. I just quickly want to ask, for someone who just got qualified in ICANN, like last diet in November, and induction will be coming up to like maybe May. Is that person, if I'm interested in starting ACCA, am I eligible for March diet, or I have to wait until after my induction? That's my first question. Second one is a diploma in IFRS. Okay, almost like the same thing. Can I go and apply to do that since it comes up in June and December? Can I register for that, or I have to do my ACCA registration first before I can now register to do diploma in IFRS?
Okay. So manager, are you able to take the question on when you can do ACCA and which certificate or evidence do you need to present?
All right, thank you very much. For someone that just finishes ICANN and you are waiting for your induction, you can actually register for ACCA now, though you've not gotten your ICANN certificate. What the requirement you need to register for ACCA is your ICANN transcript, which is handy as immediately you qualify as ICANN chartered accountant. Then can you write March exam? It is not impossible, but as a school, we always encourage those who are coming into ACCA to take the standard lectures, because the lectures available for March is actually more or less a revision class. which may not be the best for someone who is just joining the ACCA journey, because of the fact that though the same accounting, but different mentality in examining those papers. So we always encourage that take your time, attend the standard lectures so that you understand the technicality around passing ACCA. However, diploma in IFRS is written twice. You need to register with ACCA. Let it be clear that in ACCA you can't have two registration. It's either you register for ACCA qualification or you register for diploma in IFRS, which you can later convert to whichever one you want to do. Exams are written twice, June and December. You can register now as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I see so many hands up. We will not be able to take all the questions now, but keep the hand up. But at some point, we may ask you to lower it just in case there are people who have questions for our guests and the questions are specifically for the guests. So I'll just take one more question. But before I do that, just to check, Jonathan, are you around?
Yes, I am. I actually sent you a direct message. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, okay. 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 All right. So we'll continue with the questions. Mutio, please go ahead with your question. You need to unmute.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you, sir. My question is for a student who has previously registered while he's an undergraduate as an ACCA for ACCA, who has previously registered as an undergraduate and now qualified as a chartered accountant, but intend to continue the program. Can such students enjoy a discounted price to take the exam? In terms of exam.
Okay. So you said that the student has completed the exam, but is still in uni. Is that what you said?
The student is when the student register is an undergraduate.
Yeah.
When he start for ACCA and get the student registration, a registration number from ACCA. But now the student is now a chartered accountant.
Okay.
And previously the student hasn't written any exam with ACCA, but he just did a registration. He hasn't written any exam, but
all right. I get what you mean. So by chartered accountant, I can, for example, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your question is, can the person, now present this additional certification to gain further exemptions so that you are starting at a more later stage, right?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. Yes, I think that is possible. And manager, feel free to jump in if you have any addition. By the way, I've been saying manager. His name is Olumide, and he is the chief operating officer at Ivy League. So we also call him the Alpha and Omega of ACCA at Ivy League. He understands the process end to end. Very reachable. I mean, and obviously, as you have questions across the process, he also has his team as well that works with him, and they will be very happy to help you and guide you through, all the administrative stuffs. Okay, for me.
Hello. Okay.
Hi.
I just had a question on when you mentioned that when you can be invited to be a member. You said something that after completing the applied knowledge stage and doing your ethics and your PR, you can be invited. Is that correct, or maybe I missed something?
So invitation to membership is a function of I've finished my exams. There's evidence that I've done the ethics and professional module. and then I've done my experience requirement. So the moment, so for example, it's possible that you're even still writing your exams, but you've done your practical experience requirement, you've signed off 36 months, you've signed off the performance objectives, you've done the ethics and professional skills module, but you can't be invited to membership, neither can you apply yet, because you're still writing the exam. The moment results are released and your final result is out and you are done with the exam, you may not even need to apply. It's automatically triggered from their system that you have everything complete. You are now a member, and then you pay any admission fee that is relevant at that time. Okay.
Thank you, sir. And that includes the strategic exams, right?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Akintunde.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My question is around OBU, Oxford Brookes University. So the assessment for OBU, is it going to be based on specific subjects, or all the papers that the candidate, the person has written, right from the foundation up to the skills level? I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, so it's for the skills papers only. So foundation papers are not included. Okay, Miriam.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the session. I've been educative.
You're welcome.
I wanted to ask, you mentioned that the ethical and professionals module is a one-time payment, but the test can be taken several times. So my question is, after making the one-time payment, if the candidate fails to write the test again, do I need to make another payment, or?
No, the EPSM module, no, you don't need to make another payment again now.
All right. Thank you very much.
So we take 2 more questions. Here, Missy.
Hello.
Yes, yeah, Missy, we can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you for this section. So I have a couple of questions. Number one, I want to find out if this recorded section will be shared with us so that we can at least listen to it again after the meeting. Then the second question is for somebody that has a BSc in accounting and also has is a member of Chartered Institute of Taxation in Nigeria, would the person be exempted from, or how many papers would the person be exempted from the skill level? Then the last question I also want to find out is for the IB tutor center, when does the tutorial start and what is the tuition fee? What's the tuition fee for each class?
Okay, we will not be able to take you through the tuition fee for each class here. I mean, that's an information that is easily available after the, you can reach out to the admin team. We will drop the contact details and as well, you can go to our website where you can see that information as well. On the exemption and when is lecture starting, I will allow manager to take that as quickly as possible.
Okay, so for someone with BSc in accounting and chartered tax practitioner in Nigeria, well, BSc accounting, depending on the school you graduated from, the standard exemption you get is 4 papers, 3 knowledge level papers and corporate and business law at the skill level. For Chartered Institute of Taxation, giving you additional exemption. At this point, I'm not sure that have any added advantage, but we know that ACC and CITN at a point are in a conversation, and I don't know if the MOU has been signed that can now give waiver. But for now, a BSc in accounting is what gives you 4 exemptions. So that's it.
Yeah, there's actually
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, go ahead with classes, yeah, please.
So the classes we start for June. We've already started March exam classes today. Then June exam classes we start on the 20th of January, which is next week Saturday. Like the CEO said, contact will be dropped. You can reach us on via our contact or our social media pages. Thank you.
Fantastic. So there's already an MOU, and I think we have the head of ACCA Nigeria around, who probably, during a session may want to mention one or two things around that. I think ACCA has an agreement with CITN in that regard. But what that offers you in terms of exemption and things like that, maybe we can get more into that from ACCA. So at this point, I would like to hand over to our director and also moderator for this session, Jonathan Ikeolumba.
All right. Just a confirmation if everyone can hear me.
Absolutely, we can.
Can hear and see you.
Okay. All right. So I think, first of all, the first thing to say is Happy New Year, everyone, and just wishing us the best for the year. I think we've had a very excellent conversation so far. So we're now going to take it up now to another level, which is really now hearing, a lot from people who has gone through this journey, and really what that has then done for their careers, since then. So we're going to have a panel conversation made up of people who I'm sure you're all going to be excited just as I am. And in no particular order, I will be bringing them up. And so the first person that I want to bring up, and this is just really exciting to hear, so just for context. So I'm going to be bringing up Mr. Joseph Owolabi, who is the immediate past president of ACCA, I mean, no other than, Mr. Joseph Owolabi. Just to confirm you're on the call, sir.
Hi, Jonathan. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone.
Oh, perfectly.
Good morning.
Perfectly. We can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I also want to bring up the country head for ACCA in Nigeria, Mr. Tom Isibo. Just a confirmation if he's on the call as well.
Hi, Jonathan. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Oh, okay. Everyone's looking forward to the face. Okay. Again, I want to bring up someone who has been speaking, but I'm sure he's quite very humble with talking about himself. But I'll do that justice to him. I want to bring forward our CEO here at Ivy League, and who is also a current member of the ACCA Global Council. You've been hearing him speak. His name is Mr. Seyi Oshibolu.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let me add that we actually have a fourth guest, Petrolina Zulu. She's currently in a board meeting as we speak and has promised that once she's done with her session, she will jump in. Because of the time difference, it's spilling over. But just to add that very soon, I'm going to bring her up as soon as she joins. But I think we can kickstart the conversation already. Okay, so first of all, gentlemen, welcome to this panel session. And I just want us to quickly dive into it. And I'll start with you, Mr. Joseph. I know recently you ended your tenure as the past president of, ACCA's Global Council, and that position also allowed you, to have visited several markets, where ACCA currently, is quite active in. And so you hold that global perspective, which I wanted you to share with us. Just talk to us from what you've seen moving across countries and continents. What do you sort of say to people studying this qualification as to the big global opportunities associated with the qualification?
Thank you, Jonathan. Before I start, just want to thank everyone at Ivy League. Obviously, Seyi's on the call, CEO, founder of Ivy League, and all of your governance body, everybody has made Ivy League what it is today. Jonathan, also good to see you on the call. Tom Isibo, ACCA's country manager, also happy to have you on the call. And I'm sure there are many faculty, some of you whom I've met with you over the years. I think it's now probably going to about 10 years or so since I've been privileged to be coming here. So it feels like home. So thank you to everyone at Ivy for the opportunity. Like Jonathan mentioned, last year I was ACCA's global president. Obviously, it was a unique privilege for me. The way ACCA works, we usually have president as face of the organization and also the chairman of our board. That was significant because the first time you had a young person having the opportunity to do so, and indeed also the first time we had someone from Africa to be able to hold that position. And to Jonathan's question, I think it opened my eyes to the opportunities that are bound yet within the qualification. So a lot is being said about, artificial intelligence, digital revolution, and all of this stuff, and crypto and blockchain, and how potentially accounting would be a thing of the past. But having traveled to over 34 countries alone last year, from places across South Asia, Pakistan, India, but to other more interesting places to people on the call like Canada and the UK and the US, across that breadth, there's a lot of opportunities, huge opportunities. I'll give you one that would, get you thinking in that direction. I know a lot of you might not want to go to China, but I think you need to visit to change your mind on that. I was in Shanghai as well as Beijing, and what the Chinese government is doing is that if you have ACCA, if you are an FCCA, which you can achieve 5 years after you become a member, they'll give you a title that is called deputy professor. So with that, you can get an opportunity in the university. But more importantly, that's a big title when it comes to state-owned enterprises. And state-owned enterprises they're huge. They're bigger than many of the banks you see in Nigeria and the oil and gas companies. And so our members have that opportunity, not just members living in China, but also overseas. And this is just one of many opportunities that ACCA members and indeed accountants have. So there's no better time to come into the profession than now. I also say that because my first degree was not in accounting, as many of the people in the room might also have. I studied medical sciences in LUT, Idiaraba in Lagos. And it's a far cry from having the opportunity to be on council with your CEO, Sheyi, and also to have the opportunity to lead ACCA. So there's no limit to where you can take your career to with ACCA. I wanted to have an opportunity to have a global career. ACCA has made that possible for me. I not only, live, and I'm calling you now from Australia, but I also run a business here and have a footprint around the world. Why? Because of ACCA. So the big thing for me with ACCA is not so much about the qualification. The qualification is great. We're so proud of our qualification, and I'm sure Tom will tell you about that. But for me, as a member, the big thing is the network. It's not so much about the qualification. You see, all over the world, Harvard will tell you they're the best. Oxford will tell you they're the best. Everybody is the best, right? But it's the network. Which network would unlock opportunities for you? And for me and many other people that I know, ACCA has helped so much. So there's a lot of Nigerians now in Canada, and it's difficult when you leave Nigeria. And I know many of you would eventually want to leave because of many reasons. I won't go into that here. But what you will find is that it's difficult to settle into a different country. When you have a huge network like ACCA has offices in over 100 countries. That's huge. And we have members or students in 181 countries. So think about it. Any of the countries on your mind, we have members there. And they are senior members. Some of them are CFOs and what have you. So the opportunities are huge. I know I've got 3 to 5 minutes for that question. I won't take it too further than that. The opportunities are immense across all countries around the world, even places where you hear, oh, ACCA is not big there, all of that. We still have members at the highest level there. So I want to encourage you. I know a number of you in the room today, it's an open day. You're thinking about it. Should I do this? Should I go do a master's somewhere? Should I continue my engineering program? Should I continue English or whatever I'm doing? This is the right time to choose a career in accounting and finance, and ACCA is the best choice. Thank you.
That was excellently said. I like your emphasis on the network, even just beyond the global appeal, but also the network and how that has even helped many of our members settle down when they get into new jurisdictions. Very well so. And I know a lot around your business, which is centered around ESG and sustainability. We'll come into that very soon. But let me take us to the next person, Mr. Tom, our country head. I must say before he gets to speak that I don't think we've witnessed the kind of innovations, in our qualification and even in the relationship that we as members have had in a long time, as much as what we are witnessing under his regime. So we're first of all grateful. I speak as a member who is grateful for the work you do. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to also speak to everyone on the call. What are some of those things from the perspective of Nigeria that they should be expecting? What are some of those innovative things that is already, in the sleeve, that I wanted you to sort of roll out, let everyone get to know. I know there are a lot of conversations we've heard as a school around the impact on exchange rate, but beyond that, I just wanted you to sort of tie that in together. What should, our students be looking forward to,
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. I just want to say hi again and hello to everyone and Happy New Year again. And a very warm welcome to our ambassador, Mr. Joseph Owolabi, as well as Sheyi. Just to put things in context, ACCA Council is the highest governance of the organization. So for you in Ivy League to be having a past president, and he's also currently a council member as well, and also having a council member in form of Mr. Sheyi Oshibolu on one single call. Is in fact it's against ACCA protocol. Maybe you might not. So how I really pulled it through, I think it just goes back to speak to the network and relationship, what that is possible. Please, upfront, let me apologize in case you heard some noise in the background. Those are my children. Today is my child minder's day at home, so do forgive me. So, Jonathan, thanks a lot for coordinating this and for the amazing representation of Nigeria during the last AMC. So to our customers or to our future members, as we refer to students in ACCA, let me just speak in-house. Joseph Owolabi is a Nigerian, and he rose to become the #1 citizen of ACCA. And we're all Nigerians. We know the kind of reputations we have. And he's being able to lead that organization or being the #1 citizen just tells you the sort of inclusion our organization is about. So your background, your creed doesn't really matter. It is all about how do we reposition the organization for the future, and how do we also add value to the life of a member on a consistent basis. I think that is what keeps us all up at night at ACCA. What else can we do? How can we reposition the qualification to be relevant to the life of members? Now, like Mr. Owolabi has mentioned, we are in 184 countries with members in those countries who are a sort of support structure to you and all of that. But beyond that, let's even come home to Nigeria, like Jonathan wants me to speak to. I have had the opportunity of engaging with very senior government officials, and what they tell me in private, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to anyone, is that, look, your members are really grounded, and they are, very, very critical to their operations. And you see a lot of our members being technical advisors, working with, very senior government officials in capacity that they may not have visibility, but they are doing the very technical stuff. That just tells you the roundedness of the profession. In the private sector, we are, collaborating and working with institutions and organizations. And our approach is not just, hey, he's an ACCA member, so it should just be, is in your organization. We're also looking at how do we add value to those organizations. And that is why we are very, very vested in sustainability and ESG as well, to ensure that the current global language or the current global currency, which is sustainability, that's going to have significant impact. It is already embedding this into their qualification. So that ACCA members, our future members, are being equipped to ensure that you're not only having a comparative advantage, but your work itself speaks volume for you. We have relationship across the public sector, which we are reinforcing. We have, of course, relationship with the big fours, with the financial institutions. But even beyond that, we're also adding value to society in itself. So for an example, we just concluded recently a secondary school finance competition, because it's also important to begin to expose the younger generation to the finance world. Why? Because competition is no more internal, it's also global. So you can have someone sitting in Istanbul, being offered a role that's to head an organization. Meanwhile, the person in Nigeria is not getting the role and the job is in Nigeria. So we're just looking at being the best in ACCA, and we're also very strong in collaboration. Where we have in fact, we've organized engagement with ICANN, with ANAN, with CITN, and which she alluded to earlier. We're also working very closely with the Financial Reporting Council. So that's our operational model. So I want to say thanks for your interest and time today in ACCA. Thanks, and back to you, Jonathan.
Thank you so much, for, those things you've said. In fact, I think there's even one that is quite big that you actually mixed, the work you're also doing with the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the startup ecosystem. I know pretty much even the work that you do, even with some of these guys powering the startup community in the country. So well done. And just to add to everyone on the call, in my last count, about 4 of the commissioners of finance across the states in the country are actually ACCA members. So, I appreciate all that you said. I want to take the next question to Sheyi. I'll address him as our CEO now, given the protocols around council members' engagement. So Sheyi, Ivy League, to my knowledge, this is our 11th year of operations. And when I think about the impact, one way to also measure our impact is in the number of students that have graduated throughout this program. By the way, we're going to have some of our students and past students come and speak to us on their experience. And I just look at that numbers. Everywhere I go, I get someone saying to me, hello, Jonathan, I was your student. And I can imagine the same thing across all the faculties internal. What would you say about the impact of doing this, right? This is 11 years. And just speaking to someone who might, be considering attending lectures with us, speak to us about what this experience has been for the school. What does this really mean, for you again, since you started this journey? And what do you just say to people around the impact of the work that Ivy League has been doing instead of, recruiting students and also progressing students, to become members, what do you say to that?
Yeah, Jonathan, thank you very much. And I think that's a very deep question. I think first off, let me acknowledge Joseph Owolabi, the immediate past president, for honoring our invitation and being here. Tom Isibo as well, a very kind partner who is really interested in the success of the school, and ACCA in Nigeria actually have been very supportive. So thank you as well, for joining us. I think back to your question. So the first thing is, remember, we are a member body. So just as Joseph said earlier on, over 240,000 members across over 170 countries, in the world. That's huge. And that's what we pride ourselves in. And the growth rate, continues. We continue to maintain that momentum. Now, to become a member, you need to pass the exams. I mean, amongst other few routes that are also, out there to membership, but the main pipeline is student. And I could remember when we started, just over 10 years ago, I mean, it was a passionate breed of individuals who wanted other people to succeed and other people to excel in their exams. And I could sit here and tell you about so many fantastic things that have happened, engagement with employers and all of that. But I think the most impactful thing that I see is the stories we hear from students, or are the stories we hear from students. So when you think of a student who has been struggling with AFM or Advanced Audit and Assurance or some very difficult papers in ACCA, and they say, oh, I've been attempting this thing 6 attempts, but I came to Jonathan's class, or I came to Afe's class, and came to Jamil's class, and it was so, and I've now passed. You see the joy. You see the kind of messaging. Sometimes they even go on social media to say, oh, this is my story. This is how Ivy League has helped me through this process. I think that's the continuing motivation, and impact, that I see that this organization provides. Beyond that as well, we've been talking about network. So I've worked with a couple of consulting firm, professional services firm in Nigeria before moving to the UK. And, I work with a lot of clients, and I could hardly find a situation where I walk into a finance department, whether it's a bank or an FMCG, or a regulator, where you wouldn't see someone from somewhere saying, oh, hi, Shay, how are you? Oh, hi, Jamil, how are you? We met at Ivy League. You were once my tutor. It's just so pervasive. You never know. And maybe that's one of the things I miss with face-to-face lectures. You could put a face to it, you could see students and all of that. But I think the story and the journey and the number of students, close to 10,000 students have registered at some point for lectures with us. Close to 1,000, students have completed their exams through Ivy League over this 11 going to 12 years of existence. I think that's really the impact that I see in this area. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I could resonate with that story you were saying about, going into many of these finance departments, and then you get comments like, hello, Shay, and all that, So well done. I mean, let's take it back now to Joseph. Joseph is very big in ESG and sustainability, and he alluded to that. In fact, he's founded one of the companies doing deep work even in Australia around that. So, and Joseph, you also heard our country head also speak about how that is also a very strong focus, for ACCA, given the times we are in. And I just wanted you to speak to that. What are some of those trends? Perhaps there might be someone here even thinking of a career switch. I mean, there might be people like that, or people even thinking around, okay, what areas do I consolidate on? I just wanted you to now deep dive into that ESG sustainability space. What are some of the trends? What are some of the big opportunities, and how ACCA can sort of position you for those opportunities?
Jonathan, thanks again. So when it comes to ESG, some years back, probably about 12 or so years, when I started talking about ESG, you could talk about a career switch from accounting to ESG. But now it's not so much of a switch, because many of you now, as you start your studies in a few months, when you start studying ACCA, the first elementary papers, you find that there's the IFRS foundation, the set accounting standards. But now that foundation, apart from having what used to be just one board, the IASB, the National Accounting Standards Board, there's now another board, the ISSB. In fact, I was at the offices in Canary Wharf in November last year. And so the ISSB, International Sustainability Standards Board now have the remit to develop sustainability standards, which is new. It's never happened in 30, 50 years. So that's very important for accountants. So now you could argue that accountants own that field. So it's not so much of a switch. I just wanted to point that out. It's now become core areas of our profession. The same way we have internal audit, financial reporting, and all of those core areas, risk, that are part of what accountants do. Now into the future, it would be an area where we would need to focus on. So effective from January, 1st of January this year, entities around the world will start reporting on the new standards. There are two of them, S1 and S2. One is focused on sustainability-related risk. S2 is on climate related risk. So what am I saying? What are the opportunities? There's a lot of opportunities there. So you find that many years ago, it was just all about the numbers, balance sheets. For those of you that are accountants, you understand what I'm saying. For those of you that are not accountants, don't worry about it. You get used to it in a few months. So all of that is what accountants used to focus on. You could keep it simple. Accountants used to, count their bean counters or just make sure the numbers were right. But our role has evolved over the years. So this is big because not only has it brought more things to the profession, it offers more opportunities. And that's why the first question I said, the opportunities are so significant, enormous, broad, massive around the world, even in Nigeria today. So now in sustainability, there are now opportunities for accountants to be sustainability analysts, ESG investment analyst or consultant, ESG reporting, professional sustainability report assurance. So the same way we do audits against the accountants will understand if you've not started your ACCA program, don't worry, you get used to all this. So the same way we do audits for the numbers, the balance sheet, the profit and loss, cash flows. Now there'll be a requirement very soon to do audit for sustainability report. And what are sustainability? It's just the narratives around environmental impact, social impact, and governance. So if you think about the environment, there's so much talk about net zero, about less of oil and gas, fossil fuel, and social issues will be things around employees, people, society. How do you manage all of that? So focusing on this ESG is what sustainability is largely about. We'll just keep it there. So the opportunities are there. I play in that field, like Jonathan has mentioned. He also is an expert. He doesn't want to talk about it, but he's also a renowned expert in that area. So it's something where still all over the world, there are not enough people. I hear that every day. In Nigeria, all of the firms are looking for people. My own company, always looking out for people that we can partner with or we can work with. So that's an area where already we know there will be huge demand. So as you're coming in, and if that's something you're passionate about, you can quickly go in there. And what I tell people, Jonathan, I'll close with that, is when something is new, it's easy to quickly build competence. Unlike something that is established, when you talk about tax, when you talk about financial reporting, IFRS, because it's been around for a bit longer, even though IFRS is still new, but it's been around for a bit longer, you have all the gurus. But with sustainability, if you're eager to learn, you're keen to learn, and you apply yourself, the tools are there, and you take advantage of the opportunities, you can rise faster. And I hope that helps you. So many opportunities in the ESG space, and I'm happy to take that offline also. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much. You're very clear. And I think there's even a call to action in the way you sort of ended, right? When something is new and is still evolving like this should be the best time. And I can actually testify to the fact that ACC is doing a lot of resources and putting up. In fact, there's the ACC Sustainability Hub, which, I can say we can all go and reference on the website, and we'll find tons and tons of resources. Also, another point is that many of the papers in ACCA actually now has a very strong ESG and sustainability underpinning. I can speak from papers like PM is now being covered, even papers in FM, AFM, APM, in SBL. We are really covering topics around ESG and sustainability. So I think that that those points you've made is very strong. Okay, let me go back to our country head. Mr. Tom, honestly, I would not allow you leave here if you don't speak to how you think students can deal with the issues around exchange rates, because we also get that feedback a lot. I know that ACCA is doing a couple of things around paying at a discounted rate so that also cushions the effect. I also know there are opportunities for people to spread out their payments over time before payments are due. Do you have anything to say to the students around dealing with this very ugly issue around the exchange rates issues? Just what do you say to someone in terms of planning for that?
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. Thanks so much. I think the first thing I just want to say is, sorry, part of the noise you are hearing is what I apologized about earlier.
It's fine.
About is my day on duty. Honestly, let me say, as an organization, as an individual, there's a lot of empathy for our members and our future members when it comes to the currency situation in Nigeria. I was doing some analysis on, how much our currency has devaluated in the past 5 years, and it's really horrendous. Yeah, it's really horrendous. The truth is, as an organization, we are doing a lot of things on a tactical and individual level. And you've mentioned some of them already, Jonathan. ACC has a flexible payment arrangement for you. So for an example, you want to sit an exams or a paper in December, all right? You can decide to spread it out and say, I'm making payments on a monthly basis, and this is the amount I'm paying. Unfortunately, when it gets to December, rates might have changed, but the change will not be that significant. Will not be that significant. So you have a flexible payment arrangement. The other thing is, if you have also been observant, you will have seen that even though the parallel market rate is 1.5, ACC has maintained a 1.3 approach. This is still, the things that we are hitting, that's hitting our bottom line. And ACCA, like we've kept saying on this cohort, I think that's the flip side of being a global qualification. It's the same standard. So that's why a Nigerian ACCA qualified accountant is of the same value and the same level of competence as one that qualified in England or US or in any part of the world. Is one unit, unfortunately, of currency that is, recognized that we use for conversion. We've also made a lot of attempts, in the past to see if we can get official rates from the CBN. It hasn't really quite panned out. We've also approached commercial banks. Can we hold this thing at a certain rate so that when we want to repatriate, you just handle that for us? But nobody's willing to, take the risk. So, so it still comes back to us, on a monthly basis to decide the rate. And we've been considerably very fair. The other thing as well that we do to also support distressed markets like ours in ACCA is we give tactical pricing rates as well. So for an example, if you're already a member and your income is within a certain range, you are allowed a certain amount of discount. And initial registration as well, that some of you will be, undertaking after today's session. Nigeria probably has one of the lowest rates of discounts. ACC standard registration is £79. You can see that on the website. But in Nigeria, is far lower. So as an organization, we are doing quite a lot to support. But, the macroeconomic environment is way beyond what one organization can do. And I'm sure a lot of you already work in some of finance in your organization and understand, some of these dynamics. So we are doing our best as an organization, but there are just some things that are beyond us. That's how I'll answer that, Jonathan. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I thought you actually were very, very detailed in that. Okay, so what I want to do at this point now is I'll do two things. I want to give an opportunity to at least two people to speak, ask questions directly. This might be that big opportunity that I've been waiting for. So we've got very senior people in ACCA on this call. If you want to speak, I would like that you actually indicate with your hands up. But the thing is, some hands are already up. So I don't know, I think we need people to lower their hands so that I can know the fresh hands that are coming in. I'm happy to allow at least two questions for the panel. Again, let me also state that we actually also have one of the management team from ACCA Nigeria on the call as well, Mr. Victor. So we might get a comment from him just before we wrap up. So I think, Miriam, your hand is up. Is that you wanting to ask a question? Okay, so I think that's an old hand.
Maybe you can pick from number 8. Yeah.
Okay. So that is Vivian. Vivian, you can unmute your mic.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really blessed this morning because I'm happy I'm meeting Mr. Joseph. I'm happy I'm meeting Mr. Sheyi. I'm happy I'm meeting Mr. Tom Isibo. Yeah, I'm going to be writing this ACCA for the first time. And yes, I'm an ICANN member. I've qualified for 10, 12 years now. Okay, 12 years now. And I'm new to this. So I'm going to ask, when Mr. Joseph Owolabi was saying something about ESG, sustainability, strengths, and though I did not join early, but I want to ask, is there an exam one will be writing to be able to acquire this this knowledge? I'm hearing it for the first time anyway.
Okay, Jonathan, do you want me to just pick that up quickly?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I think my advice to you is, you don't need to write an exam. Like Jonathan's mentioned, ESG is embedded in what we offer as ACCA program already. And when you also become a member, our CPDs for our members also, we have a lot of tools. And Jonathan has mentioned we have a toolkit, a sustainability hub, where practitioners can go in and pick up guidelines and tools that they can use for sustainability reporting. So my advice to people usually is don't worry to jump to write a certification, right? Go through the ACCA. Let's focus on this. We are the open day is ACCA. Land your ACCA first. While you're doing ACCA, if you're so interested in this area, there's a lot of free trainings. We also have a lot of CPDs that are just available that you can attend and pick up one skill. As you now get to know more about the field, and now feel you want to do training here and there, then you can do that. Because it's a trending area, everybody's doing training, and I can tell you for sure, there's not so much you can get from training, right? But if you know what you want, then you can even know the training you're investing your money on. Remember, our exchange rate is high. There's a lot of things, demanding for your money. So you need to spend your money wisely. My advice would be focus on your ACCA, get it done. The program already captures that. There are free tools. Leverage all of the free tools. There are even free training from the UN that are free. Do those ones first. If you now feel I've done this, there's still this one I want to pay for, or there's this one. There are many of them, like I said. Then you will know, right? Even ACCA has its own certification. So we partnered with CFA. We've got a certificate, on climate finance. We also have our own program on sustainability reporting that we've also done. You can pay for those ones too. But like I told you, my initial advice will be focus on the ACCA, get it done first, then you can take it up from there. Don't be first to what certification should I write. Certifications don't really add so much value to you. I can tell you, I've got a lot of them. When you now get all the certifications, you start paying membership fees. You get tired. You pay thousands of dollars every year. So now my first certification, I've lost it. IT audit, ISACA, I lost it because I got tired of paying hundreds of dollars And I just have to stop doing my CPDs and all of that. So when you get a lot of them, you're going to get ACC, you're going to get ICANN, you're going to get CITN. It's a lot of money every year maintaining it. So please don't jump into writing the certification. That would be my own personal advice. Finish your ACCA. You will get equipped with what you need to succeed. There are free trainings out there. Go explore those ones first. Finish it. Finish all of that. Then now identify the gaps and say, okay, I need this thing. There's nothing free. Let me go do it. Let me pay for it. That's what I would advise personally.
Joe, I think
All right,
I think I agree with you on everything you've said. Lots of resources to still explore with the ACCA qualifications. So we've got another hand, Emmanuel Emegwali. You can unmute and speak.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's delightful to be here. I didn't quite join on time, but I got the hang of the conversation, and I appreciate the presence of the senior ACCA officials on the call. My question is around the annual subscription for ACCA. Around December, I was charged 130 something pounds for subscription. I had some, I had some money in my ACCA account, and of course that wasn't enough. So that put my account in debit, and I'm now left with, the challenge of how to source funds just to pay for subscription, which I feel is quite a lot of money, 134 pounds or so for just subscription. That is quite a lot. And we all know how the economy in Nigeria is. I'm not saying, of course, ACCA is a global
Sorry, Emmanuel, what's the question? So I manage the time. Just tell us what's the question so that we can provide an answer.
Okay, so I want to know, is there a consequence to delaying the payment of the subscription fee? Because until when does one have to pay without consequence, so I can plan my finances? Thank you.
Okay. I don't
Jonathan,
know,
can we just group that with one more question? Yeah,
okay.
So that we can allow the guests to
go. Okay, so let me give the opportunity to another person, and I want to play Jen. Okay, so let me hear from Babafemi Amos.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I stand on all existing protocol. I had 3 questions. The first question is what was just asked, implication of delayed subscription. Second question is, for some people that are stuck between deciding which of these elective courses to take and in reality taking what is really applicable or valuable to individuals, are there any support systems, some form of advice, somebody who could talk to just guide me on which to take? AAA, do I want to take AAA or ATX and all that? That's my second question. My third question, somebody mentioned CITN and the MOU with ACCA. I'd like to know what that MOU offers us. What are the benefits? What value proposition can we get from it? Thanks.
Okay, so thank you so much. What I would say to everyone else who wants to ask a question is still put your questions on the chat. We most likely can still take them in much later as the session goes on. So let me go back to the panel. I think, Mr. Tom, the question on the partnership with CITN, you might want to touch on it. Then I think, Shay, the question on subscription and how long before your subscription gets off, you might want to take that question. And then electives, planning for electives. So I think let's hear from Mr. Tom.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan, and the question. So a couple of years back, I think that was 4 years. So we had a strategic conversation with CITN on, building strategic partnership and collaboration. And then the outcome of that was that we decided that we're going to be holding joint events. We're even going to be having joint continuous professional development. So we have, if you attend CITN or ACCA's professional development session, it was going to count as points for you. But the highlight as a member is that if you're an ACCA member in good standing, we also have a pathway in which you will go through some induction or orientation for new members of CITN. I think that's just for about a week. And then you are inducted to become a member of CITN. So it is strictly for members. For students like yourself, if you are currently a student, you will need to qualify first before you can access that benefit. So exam is waived for our members for the CITN qualification. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's very good. So let's progress to membership. Let's get the exams out of the way, then we can pick that up. And that's something we can do. Okay. So Shay, do you want to wrap the questions for us?
Okay, so let me take a step back and talk about even the cost of ACCA, because I think the point raised by Emmanuel, bordered around overall cost and things like that. So Tom had talked about it from the perspective of ACCA. Probably just be nice to also talk about it from our perspective, because we are also impacted. This issue of exchange rate has been around since 2014. In fact, I had a colleague who sent me a screenshot of a Twitter post where someone was saying exchange rate is now 180 naira to the dollar. Is this what good luck promised us? This was back in 2014. And I'm sure we were complaining then, and then from there it moved to 250, it moved to 400, it moved to whatever it is now. Now, what I've observed over that time is people still trust the ACCA brand. And even though it appears somewhat expensive in terms of, converting to Naira and all of that, converting to paying in pounds, because of the value proposition, each time we're starting a new session and I'm seeing, okay, exchange rate has, doubled or whatever, we're scared that this may affect student enrollment. But at the end of the day, we still see a lot of students enrolling, new registration, beating records that we have had in the past and things like that. Probably just demonstrating the vibrancy or the viability of the qualification. And I think that's really what we should focus on. The issue of cost is actually temporary, and I know it could bite, but it's very temporary. Once you get the qualification, it's forever, right? So just thought to put that there. In terms of, payments, plans and all of that, Tom also talked about the ability to spread some of these costs. January 10 is actually the deadline for subscription, but I do think ACCA grants some, leeway, maybe 30 days and things like that. So perhaps you may still have till the end of January, maybe even end of February to spread some of those costs. But I will always advise, plan towards it as much as possible. Every December, it's due already, and then put it as part of your budget as early as possible. So that's what I would say on that, Jonathan.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shay. I know that there was a question you missed out on. Maybe you might want to cover that later around, determining the elective papers to go for.
Yes. So we can cover that later. Yeah, we can cover that as part of presentation. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I just wanted to bring in Mr. Victor to just talk to us about the importance of studying with an approved learning partner. I think that's a very important thing to state and reemphasize again. Mr. Victor, are you there on the call? Do you want to briefly just speak to them? I mean, he heads the education and learning relationships in the country. Are you on the call, sir? Okay. I don't think I'm able to. Mr. Victor, are you on the call?
I'm not sure if he's still around.
It's not, yeah.
Okay,
It's not on the
okay,
call
okay,
anymore.
that's okay. So let's wrap up this session by just taking just a final comment from everyone. So I start with you, Mr. Joe. Just a final, comment to everyone.
Thank you again. In 1 minute, my advice to you is get started. See, some of the regrets I've had in my career is that I didn't start things early. So I should have started ACCA way earlier. When I finished uni, which was 2004, I didn't start until start my exams until about 2008. That cost me some jobs that very good jobs that I could have had, and that's the story for another day. So just start. See, there's nothing to lose, and I tell people all the time, even if you're not going to be an accountant, if you want to be like a musician, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an archaeologist or an engineer, you'll need this. And that's the advice I've always given, associates that have worked with me. Some of them are engineers. There was a guy that was my associate in PwC Nigeria many years ago, Kende. And he, first class engineering from one of the universities in Nigeria, got into PwC. He knew he was going to go to the UK for his master's, and he's going to be in engineering. And I told him, I said, hey, you know what? You're here, just start. You don't need to finish. People always think, I don't know if I'll be able to finish. Don't worry about that, just start. And there are many examples of big CEOs, billionaires today that started that they never finished. The guy leading ESG for EY, a guy called Matt Bell, started his master's, PhD, never finished. It doesn't really matter. Some of these guys, Zuckerberg, went to Harvard, they never really finished. So it's not about finishing. We always overemphasize finishing, but life is not about finishing. It's about what you start. So my advice to you is start, even if you think you won't need it, because you will start, you make a friend that might end up being your partner, in life. Some of you would get into a class, you meet a lecturer that you will do business with in future. Some of you will get in class and you will learn a course, cash flow, and you will never finish. And that's okay. And you go on to build one of the unicorns that will come out of Nigeria. And you talk about how, I started at ACCA. I meet people all over the world that dropped out of ACCA every time I travel. And they come at me and say, hey, in fact, when I was with the Lagos State Governor and Tom was in the room, with the Lagos State Governor sometimes last year, he said the same thing. He said, you know what, I really started, I couldn't finish. Are you guys going to give me membership? And we joked about it. But it's the governor of Lagos State, right? So please don't worry so much about, will I be able to finish? I'll do nothing. If I go to the UK, it's nothing. They've told me it's nothing I will do. I'm going to go do disability, whatever. Don't worry about it. Just start. That knowledge will help you when you go to the UK and still end up doing your disability business. Your understanding of financial statement would help you start your own disability practice and start getting people to work for you. So you need this. And I'm saying this not because I have anything in it. I'm like everybody. I'm just a member, but I know it would help you. It's helped me in my life. And I know it will help you. It's helping people all over the world. And the opportunities are we've not even scratched the surface. So that I'll leave it there. I've said a lot already. But thank you again. Thank you, Ivy League, for having me.
Joe, you looked for a bit of a trouble there. Start, but it's not important to finish when you have the CEO of Nigeria on the call. Okay, let's get Mr.
Some would agree with me, but don't quote me as saying that. But for me, it's start, because I know when you start. See, don't get me wrong. I know when you start, you get all the support you need to finish. It's not always finishing, but one of the KPIs for Tom, for Ivy League, for all of these people is to get you to finish. Yeah. So I know that when you start, you will get all the support you need to finish. But the truth is, it's still, no matter what we do, still some percentage will not finish. And in life, really, you will get to understand that as you grow. It doesn't really matter. It's what you do. Again, I told you network. Some of you will meet people in the class and you go on to start up a tech business. And that's what really matters, So I hope you get that. I know it's too much.
All right. Mr. Tom, your final comments, sir.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. I think for me, I was just picking up on when Joseph said, I'm just a member. Just to quickly correct that, you are the immediate past president. So you're not just a member. You're still part of the governance of the CCA. I think what I would just like to say is there is no journey without turbulence.
Yeah.
So that is my honest, sincere counsel or advice. There is no journey without turbulence. And permit me, for the non-Christians on the call, that even when God is with you, he said he has not said you won't pass through fire or you won't pass through water. The only thing he has said is you will survive all those things simply because I am with you. So that is the same thing I just want to say to everyone listening on this call, that ACCA is not, there's nothing good that doesn't come with a price. So it doesn't come with costs. So I think some of this turbulence, increase in rate, exchange rate volatility, you will even have to sacrifice your weekends to come for lectures. And then sometimes you're going to fail papers. And I hope everyone on this call don't fail. You'll all take it and pass it at one time. But that could happen. And when it happens, you still have to psych up yourself, motivate yourself, and get back on the path, because the prize is what you are focused on. What is that benefit that having this qualification gets for you? So I want to say thank you for choosing ACCA. I also want to encourage that stay strong. Different winds will come, but just be focused. Just be like the rock that will be unmovable during the weather types. But thank you most importantly for the time today, for the sacrifice of sitting the ACCA exams. Ivy League is our strategic partner. They are so ACCA classifies or gives approvals or have different approval levels for learning providers. We have silver, gold, and platinum. Ivy League is a platinum provider, and the number of students they have is, Shaya has told you what 10,000 going to 12, and then over 1,000 has passed. And those are amazing statistics to tell you that you are in the right place, and you just need to do the extra work and stay focused. So I wish you all the very best, and we'll see you on the other side and when you are a member. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, well done. I think, Shay, your own comment would be more like to say thank you, on behalf of the school to the two people.
Interestingly, I want to keep it short as well, because I think Jonathan and Tom, fantastic job. Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate your time, and I know Joe, you're probably in a different time zone right now, so really do appreciate your presence, and Tom has always been with us. We thank you so much for that. What I also just want to add is, when it's very good, it doesn't come cheap, right? So some of the most respected professional qualifications in the world today, they don't come cheap. And when I say cheap, I'm not necessarily talking about cost. I'm talking about the rigor that goes with the process. So you may be here and you've written some papers, maybe even feeling discouraged at some point. And now it's a new year. You've said, oh, I'm going to face this thing head on this year. Go in with that motivation. The honest truth is nobody cares how many times you wrote any paper. Nobody ever asked me, oh, that paper, how many times did you fail it before you passed it? They just want to know, are you a member or not? Okay, so keep it going. We're here to support you and give you all the support you need across the process. Okay, so Jonathan, over to you.
All right, thank you so much. And I hope that to everyone on the call, you found this session very useful and, more importantly, very motivating. And that really was the idea, so that we can learn and see through the lens of people who have been there before. So thank you once again. So we'll be moving into another very interesting session. So we've heard from, these great, amazing people. And now I also wanted to give an opportunity for us to highlight some of our past students, or we call them our alumni, who've been through this sort of process that many of you are about embarking on or are currently embarking on. And just to share their stories around what it was like, studying and learning through Ivy League, studying for the qualification, but being guided by Ivy League. So these were students who have attended one class or the other. I just want to bring them up to just share their experience, and we can sort of, take you and just learn from what it has been for them. So I'm just going to check to confirm if I've got them on the call. So I want to start with Martina. Just to confirm, is Martina on the call? And you might unmute your mic. Correct. Yeah. Okay. So Martina, now the interesting thing again is Martina is now an ACCA member. So she used to be a student not too long ago, but she's quickly progressed to becoming an ACCA member. So Martina, do you want to tell us, what your experience was like, studying at Ivy League? How did Ivy League support you in that journey? And we're happy to listen to you. Go on.
Okay, thank
Martina.
you. Thank you, everyone. I hope you can hear me and see me well.
Loud and clear.
Okay. I just want to take a permission. My baby may be running in and out of the room and shouting "mommy," so please just pardon that while I speak.
That's fine.
Thank you. I started my journey in 2020, I believe. Yes, I started my journey in 2020, and when I got employed, when I got a job, so I'm an experienced senior with KPMG, and I have always been with KPMG since I finished school. So when I got a job, and the decision was, you have to write ICANN or ACCA, I asked some of my senior colleagues, okay, what do you suggest? And everybody goes, oh, ACCA. I mean, the exchange rate then was not that bad. I think it was 500 naira. So, I mean, I was like, okay, fine. If I had already calculated how much I was going to spend for all my papers. So I was like, okay, ACCA is the way. So I started asking, oh, what tuition center do I use? And everybody was going, oh, I know there's Ivy League and, some other ones. But, I mean, everybody always had Ivy League as the number one. So I said, okay, fine. I searched for where Ivy League was, and I realized it was in Yaba. So I okay, fine. I had lived in Yaba before I moved to the island, so I'm like, okay, I know the area. I was not ready to go to any other area. Like, I just loved my comfort zone. So I enrolled with Ivy League, and I will say, not being an accounting graduate, it was relatively easy. The tutors were very supportive. And when I started, it was all physical classes. So tutors would always ensure that you are paying attention. Are you following? Like, they were very they carried everybody along. I'll say that was it. So it was very interesting. I totally enjoyed all the classes, all the sessions, and I think it was one of the instrumental things that helped me pass all my papers in one sitting. So I know they are very in-depth. All the tutors are in-depth, and I enjoyed everyone. So yes, so that was my experience. Even when he moved online.
Sorry. Please, who is that? Be careful around your mic. We can hear you. Sorry about that. Please go on.
Yeah, sure. And even in 2020, because I had started and it was physical classes for I think 3 months, and then we had to go online. It was a seamless process, I would say. So I think that was another thing that sort of solidified, why I continued, and I stayed with Ivy League throughout till I finished my exams. And I mean, it was very instrumental. The tutors were always available. So even if they are not available at the time you send the question, just ensure you send it to them. They may not respond immediately, but they will always definitely respond to you, to your queries. In fact, when I was writing SBL, I know Jojo and Tunde took that. And at some point, Jojo was like, Martina, it's enough. You have been sending me all your assignments. It is too much. Tunde was like, see, I cannot mark all your assignments, but I'll just give you a general overview. So that's how, but you need to engage your tutors, because they're also working, and they also have like what they do. So you also need to know that you need to engage them. If you don't engage them, they will not be looking for you to submit your assignments. So I think that was one thing that I took advantage of. I knew how to engage all my tutors, and I think it was the same across from like when I started to when I finished. I always engaged all my tutors. I was always like very active in class, because I know how much I paid, so I know that I must not fail this paper. So that's my experience. But I say it was a very great experience. I totally enjoyed my 4 years with Ivy League, and yes. So.
Well done, Martina. I recall Martina is actually 2019, December or so. I recall seeing you the first time in class at the paper was called AB, and just hearing her speak, I knew this was one of those people that will quickly make a very fast, that was quickly going to write this exam. I think the reason he even stayed for 3 to 4 years were because of our organizational policies around how many times we can write the exam. So well done. And just to say, we are so proud of you, and continue to keep the flag flying.
Thank you.
All right, and you can go back and take care of the baby. All right. I want to call up another of our students on the call, just to confirm if Tammy is on the call. Is Tammy on the call? Tammy Laurie, is she on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call right now.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So let's hear from Tammy. Tammy, you want to share with us your experience, what it was like studying at Ivy League for the courses you did with us?
All right. Okay, so for me, I started my journey with Ivy League in, I believe it was 2021. After I had graduated, I just left school. I now said, okay, I need to, because in my school, ACCA representatives had already come to introduce us about the exam and the importance. And I was interested. I was, okay, this goes in line with my goals. I want to really ensure that I make a good headway into my accounting career. So I started off with performance management and financial management and PM and FM. And so the first thing I heard was, oh, you need a learning provider. I was, how am I going to do this? Would I have to study on my own? But then, of course, I knew I needed like a tutorial service, because I needed as much support as I could get with my first exam. And thankfully, one of my mother's friends, interestingly enough, was the one who connected me to Ivy League, because her own children had also just written the ACCA. She said these people are well graded, they have good standards, they are very attentive, and that really just attracted me to them. And so, and Ivy League really made such a substantial contribution to my journey, because the thing is, it is when you study on your own, yes, you will learn, but then the Ivy League tutors go ahead and out of their way to give you such important tips and such good advice that as we all know, no man is an island. So things that you yourself would not even have thought of, you're like, wow, this actually really would help me. This is actually really helpful. They are so helpful. I remember there were so many times when I called a tutor, I say, oh, okay, I've gone this far in the syllabus. What do you think I should plan myself to ensure that I finish it on time? Okay, there's this topic I'm having an issue with. Could you please show me the ropes? Could you like show me carefully? And then there are also moments in classes where I had issues that I didn't understand, and they always, like, of course, they all have their own prior obligations, but they always made time for you to always meet up and to ensure that you understand things, which is something I greatly appreciated. And thankfully, this has really helped me to pass all of my exams in first sitting so far. I have written the FMPM, AA, SBL, SBR. I just have 2 more exams. By the grace of God, later this year, I'm going to go to Ivy League again and complete all of my exams, and I'll be done this year. I'm currently working in EY as an auditor. Again, the ACC has really helped me to get there. It's really allowing me to make an impact right now as I'm currently working there. And it's something I'm forever grateful for.
Thank you, Tammy. Tammy is one of those students that, while in class, you could see how very determined she is to want to go the extra mile, and quite very diligent, So it's good to hear from you, Tammy, firsthand, and we actually wish you success in the remainder of your papers. Okay, I'm going to call up. Yeah, I'm going to call up one more person just to confirm she's on the call. Is Ego on the call?
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
I don't know. Can you see me as well?
Not yet. From my end, maybe. I mean, not yet.
Okay.
Okay, yes, we can now. Well
You are
done.
visible now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I am Jojo and Shay and everybody in Ivy League. So basically for me, some of the stories I've heard already, like they resonate with me. I'm an ICANN member, and when I finished school, I just took ICANN basically. I didn't really think of any other options. But over the years, I work full time. I work for an oil company. I don't even reside in Lagos currently. I used to, but I moved out of Lagos. So, um, getting to know Ivy League was actually I just went to ACCA website. So when I decided to do ACCA, I went to the website and I was looking for something else entirely. Then I saw something about learning providers, and I didn't even know anything of that existed because I was already going to do self-study. But I saw that and said, okay, let me see if there's anybody from Nigeria. And I saw two schools. I was like, oh, it'd be nice, and all platinum providers. So I just contacted Ivy League, and that was it. That's how the journey started. So it was just like nobody told me about it. I just saw it on the ACCA website and just trusted that this should be good. And fortunately for me as well, because I don't reside in Lagos, they were now doing online classes because of COVID. So that's the advantage I got from COVID. So at least I was able to get connected to Ivy League, even though I don't reside in Lagos. So I started my classes. The first class I took was AAA because I have ICANN, I just did the professional exams. So I took AAA first with Ivy League, and the lectures were so good. Even when my husband listens in on the background, he was like, "Ah, that guy is really very good." And that was Shay. Shay was the lecturer, and they were so good, and everything was very clear. You could ask questions. I mean, it's a very interactive class, so you don't feel like maybe you need to find the things out for yourself. You can always ask the lecturer any of them. Even afterwards, you can also send a message. You can ask questions on the group chat as well. So I liked how interactive everything was. And then I passed that exam. I didn't know the next one to do. I was going to do APM actually, but in the class a few times, so he mentioned AFM class. I was like, if this guy is going to cheat that AFM class, then I'm going to do AFM. So that's how I actually did AFM. And it was really awesome. I really enjoyed. I'm happy I did AFM. Really, it was not as difficult as, I mean, for me it was quite easy for me because of the lectures, because of the guidance, because of the approach. I liked the recorded lectures. I work full time, like I said, and I had my team in my company, so it's very engaging. I really don't have much time. I travel a lot and all, but because of the recorded lectures, most times I'm in the flight, I'm listening to something, I'm trying to read up. So I did a lot of catching up, but it was still very good for me. So I know some people are in that situation. Don't feel like maybe because you might not be available all the time, you would miss out on things. You can always go back. That's the advantage of Ivy League. You can go back and listen to the lectures. If a topic was, even if you're in the class and you didn't understand the topic, you can go back and listen. So I liked all that really because I mean, having everything online and all is really an advantage to all of us. So after AFM, I did SBL, of course, with Jojo, and like I said, it was all very good. I paced my exams because of my work, and my SBL exam was one of the toughest because all of last year I was traveling a lot. I was not in Nigeria most of the time, but I still tried to catch up with the class. The first four classes, I didn't even end up listening to them because I didn't have time. But being able to ask Juju questions outside the class And then I also attempted all the assignments. That's one thing I tried to do the assignment, so that at least I can, get in tune with the class. And also I did the mock exam. For the first time I did the mock exam for SBL. I didn't do for the others because of time, but for SBL I did the mock exam, and it really helped me. The marking, the comments that DJ made on my paper helped me to improve. And for all my papers I actually scored very high and very well. So I'm grateful I met Ivy League on this journey, and very thankful. And for everybody that is here, if you haven't registered in Ivy League yet, I think you should give them that chance to help you with your ACCA journey, and you won't regret it. Back to you, Jojo. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ego. I mean, so Ego's case is quite very unique. That's why we carefully wanted to go after people that reflect the kind of students you have. That's a very busy person. She's quite humble with her designation. So she's quite a very senior person in one of the major oil and gas firms in the country. And, that's busy routine that she does have, and how she was able to manage that with the structure of the classes at Ivy League and to do so well. I thought that's also a good example on how many busy people who might be wondering, can I juggle, studying, for classes and also, preparing for the ACC exam. I think she represents that. She's always, all about on the flights, traveling, across different countries in the world. So I thought it was important that to also bring her experience, also share with everyone in the class. So I think that to everyone on the call, we've actually heard from a couple of people who have shared their experiences. And I just want to say to you one more time that, you're in the right place to do something for 11 years running and turning out the significant amount of people that we graduate every time also speaks to deep institutional experience that we've built over time. So just to say you're in the right place, and I really encourage all of you, to continue to make sure that sign up for lectures with us, and we can only assure you of one thing we will do, and that will be to give you our very best. So on that note, I'm happy to hand it back to you, Sheyi. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. I loved every part of your session, and I hope that everyone also enjoyed it. And thanks to Martina, thanks to Tamilore, thanks to Ego. I mean, that was fantastic. I think even the lineup of people you selected as well, just to show that blend. And I remember several years ago, I used to say that there are different levels of challenges you face when taking ACCA. So if you're fresh out of school and you don't have a family yet, it's probably easier. But once you start having families, or you hold senior leadership positions in your organization, or you have kids you have to take care of, combining that with ACCA can actually be tough. So Joe, thanks a lot. All right, now to this one that I'm particularly excited about, and that's our blended learning approach. Just listening to Ego now, she talked about how recorded lectures were available to her, and even though she might have missed a live class, but she's still able to go back and all of that. I think what we have done now is to even make that much easier. So I know we are running out of time now, but I will try as much as possible to, be succinct and explain clearly what we are doing here and how your lectures will look like, starting from today. If you have any question, again, please just raise your hand. We'll try to take as many questions as possible after I finish the presentation. Just to take a quick step back, you will remember that preparing for an ACCA exam would often involve 4 steps. The learning stage, where you learn the concepts. The practice stage, where you practice a lot of questions to reinforce your knowledge and understanding. The revision phase, where you then go over the whole thing again, use exam standard questions to practice. Where you identify weaknesses, you can go back to the learning phase to learn some of those topics again or ask questions. And then finally, mock exams. Mock exams, according to data available to ACCA, increases your chances of passing by up to 30%. It's actually huge. It's a significant thing that a lot of students sometimes don't prioritize, but mock exams are very, very important. Now, looking at these 4 phases, what we have now decided to do is that for the teaching phase, which is where you learn the concepts, all these are now pre-recorded videos. Okay, pre-recorded videos recorded by our expert tutors covering the entire syllabus. So it's not prioritizing one area, leaving one area out. Every area of the syllabus is covered. The videos are made available to you at the beginning of the session. We pace it. So what we know you will need over the next, let's say 1 month, we make it available to you. And then afterwards, we give you access to the other ones. Now, we know the importance of live classes, online classes, and so that is still in the game, definitely. So when it comes to solving questions, and then also you asking tutor questions, and then also all the interaction that goes with, live classes, that will now take place bi-weekly for the standard class. So standard class is for those who are taking June exams. If you need to take full lectures for your paper, you should target June exams, right? You should target the standard class. Those who want to write the exam in March will take the intensive class. Intensive class is ideally for those who, for example, have taken full lectures before, or have done self-studying and they're quite comfortable. They just need someone to guide them through a few areas across the syllabus. Or maybe you've even written the exam before, but you want to have a receipt and you feel like an intensive class is okay for you rather than full lectures. But we will not advise first-timers who have not taken full lectures before to work with an intensive class. So the intensive class is every weekend. So it started today. I think some people will be in their classroom taking their intensive lectures, for example, and it goes on till the end of February. Okay, while standard class will start next week, Saturday, January 20th, based on our timetable, which you can also find on our website, and I'm going to be showing it here as well. And that will be ending mid-April. Okay, mid-April. So for the standard class, live classes, live online classes like sessions like this would happen bi-weekly. So for example, starting January 20th, if your papers are on Saturday, you will not have any lecture January 27th. You will have your next lecture maybe February 3rd or something like that, right? So that 2 weeks gap that you're going to be having, every period, you are expected to use that to watch the videos, the pre-recorded videos that have been recorded by your tutors explaining the concepts end to end. In some of these videos, we've solved questions as well. But then when you then come to the live class, we debrief what you have learned. You get the opportunity to ask questions on things that were not clear. The lecturer explains it, and the lecturer then brings in exam standard questions. Same thing as well happens for intensive. In fact, the game-changing idea here for intensive is intensive students now have access to full lectures effectively, because you will still have access to the entire video and you can listen to this video at your pace. So some people may say, oh, maybe when my kids have been put to bed, I can squeeze in 1 hour, I can squeeze in 30 minutes to listen to this thing. I think it's easier for me that way, or early morning, or whatever time that is more convenient for you. That's really the play here. Okay, so every weekend we meet for intensive class, but every 2 weeks we meet for the live classes. We have suspended our face-to-face classes for this diet. Okay, so we are concentrating our effort. All our students, if a majority of our students have always been doing online classes anyway, so we have decided to consolidate our effort to ensure that we give you the best from online, and we prioritize that. Then revision starts mid-April. Okay, so revision is a separate product now. That starts mid-April, and that's always because some people just want to take the lectures and maybe even write the exam in September. So you may say, I don't need revision now, I'll come for another intensive lectures later. So we brought in all those flexibility. Revision starts mid-April, and then that goes for 6 weeks. So revision will be 3 full days for each paper. except for FA, MA, BT, and CBL, that will be 2 full days. Okay, so sort of like 9 to 5 with a series of breaks in between. The benefit of this is those high volume papers, papers like SBR, financial reporting, performance management, AFM, you can actually finish your revision much earlier because of the way we will pace the timetable. So by early, May, for example, you could finish, and then you have 3-4 weeks to do your own extra studying and all of that. See, one of the things I noticed about, the students that spoke about their experience at Ivy League was the effort they put in. This thing requires effort from both sides. In fact, actually more effort from your side. And I remember Martina in my class, I remember Ego in my class, they were very active, they were asking questions, they would try their best to do the assignment, come for assignment debriefs and things like that. All these things add up, okay? And then we have mock exams. So mock exams, again, separate product, which is now available based on a weekday timetable, much closer to the exam. And this will be live mock exams with flexible timing. So you get more details around that as we get closer to that period. So what you have here is what in our new lecture plan will look like. So I thought to just share an example here. So for example, this is in respect of a Sunday paper, standard class, which is actually advanced audit and assurance. And so January 21st, you have the first class, right? And then, so that is a live class. And then, so the tutor pretty much gives you an overview of the paper, our approach, and then tells you what you would expect to take out of the videos that you are supposed to watch over the next 2 weeks, right? And then perhaps maybe even give you solve a question in that class as an appetizer, just to make you understand, okay, what are some of the key things you are going to take away? So when you get the lecture plan, the questions would have been populated because you actually have the opportunity to attempt them before they are attempted by the tutors. And then you have a period of 2 weeks to go through these videos, which would have been allocated to you. Do it at your pace, do it as many times as you want to do it. Well explained by our tutors. They have taken their time. So all those problems with connection, someone failed to unmute, and all those internet connection problems, distractions, you can minimize all of that and ensure you concentrate on this. And then when you come for the next live class, the first thing the tutor does is to recap what you have listened to, take your questions if you have questions or things that were not clear from the video, and then solve exam standard questions related to those topics, and then finally, the lecturer will tell you, okay, what are the learning outcomes you will pick from the next couple of videos that you have to watch. And so that goes on and on till the end of the session, whether it's intensive class or the standard class. But again, remember, live classes for intensive every weekend, live classes for standard class every other weekend, okay? What are some of the benefits we see from this? Clearly, you can see straight away flexibility is enhanced, you can pretty much take these lectures, and some of these lectures are 30 minutes. We've tried to make it short, precise, some, 45 minutes, some 1 hour, some 1 hour, 30 minutes, but no single video is more than 90 minutes, okay? Most are actually less than that. We've tried to ensure that there are things you can fit into your, work schedule and things like that. Distraction is also minimized. There will still be live classes, obviously, but significantly distraction is minimized in the sense that, if you're dealing with internet connection issues or, someone failed to unmute, sometimes we even have students who are taking lectures and are on a road trip, which is not ideal. So this way you can actually do things at your own convenience, as long as you do it within the window that has been provided to you. They are taken by our expert tutors as well. And then we also know that each class is a 4-hour class. It's quite long. So for you to be doing that every weekend, for those taking standard lectures, has been quite stressful in the past. We believe that when you have these breaks, then you come for the live class, it freshens you up, it makes you more effective as long as you are disciplined throughout that process. And then another benefit that comes from this is assumed knowledge. Now, so just like Ego said, just like some of you that are on this meeting, you're probably already chartered accountant. Maybe some of you got your ICANN 10, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, but you registered for ACCA, you've been exempted from all the skill level papers, you are now at the professional level, you enter the advanced financial management class, and I start to moving into cost of capital, but then there are some foundational knowledge that you need to recap. The good thing now is that we are able to assign videos to you that we believe you need to watch this before you start going into the technical details of the professional level papers that you are taking, because these are like the assumed knowledge, from the skills level. But if you feel like, oh, okay, I think I'm on top of these areas, I still remember them, or I've recently passed my knowledge and skills papers. So, those are optional videos, but they are available to you. And then you still get the benefit of live classes, and then you get the benefit of early completion of syllabus, which gives you more time, to prepare for your exam. But definitely, this is not without saying that you have a huge role to play in this process. And that talks to commitment, that talks to discipline, particularly in 3 areas. Number 1, you will not get a lot from a live class if you have not watched your recorded videos or pre-recorded videos where the same tutors have explained those concepts, before you enter the live class. So you should ensure that during the 1 week period you have for intensive, or 2 weeks period you have for standard class, that the designated videos for that slot, you watch them before coming to the live class. That is very, very important. Put down your questions, things you want to clarify, and the tutor will be happy to clarify it. Live classes as well, you need to attend, you need to participate, you need to pay attention. It's now based on designated dates that so you can always plan your schedule to ensure that you have full concentration. You're not doing some other things while at the same time trying to listen to lectures. Those things don't help. Okay. And then finally, do your assignment. So practice questions that goes with each video. Try to attempt them. You don't have to be perfect. It was just like when Joseph was saying, start. It's not about finishing and all of that, but start. It's the same thing with assignment. Just attempt it, give it a shot. Whatever is wrong, when the live class is going on and the tutor is solving it, you will see those mistakes. That's really how you reinforce your learning. Okay. So, just to take you through the process in a nutshell. So once you register and pay for lectures at Ivy League, you get the registration link, you submit your details. Please ensure your details are accurate. We need your accurate details. And there's some information that we may also get that you may consider private, like date of birth. And that's because ACCA monitors our performance because of our accreditation. So we need to let them know you are our student. Okay, that's why we get some of those information. Admit will set you up back end. You will receive the link to the videos and materials. In terms of these 2 steps around admin setting your back end, how you're going to join live classes, how you're going to have access to your pre-recorded videos, maybe I can bring in manager at this point to say 1 or 2 things around that process. Manager.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for joining this meeting once again. So the process is you make inquiry via maybe our social media. It could be a phone conversation, it could be a WhatsApp conversation. Then once payment is made, that you've made payment for lectures, we send you a registration link, which you fill your details. We take your details, profile you on our LMS. Then you get an email with your sign-in credentials, which you use to sign in to our platform. Once that is done, we'll be releasing videos to your email. You'll be getting email, please. We want to encourage that your Ivy League emails is important going forward. It's very, very important. Majority of the communication will be sent to that email. Then once we send you the email, you access the video through the emails. Should you have any problem, any challenges, the admin team is available to take whatever challenge you have. So that is how you access your LMS. I also want to add, you are going to get a short video on how to use our platform at registration. You are also going to get some instruction which include you downloading Microsoft Teams on whichever platform device you want to use, and also downloading Microsoft Authenticator, because you need the authenticator to sign into your portal. So I would like to drop it here because of the time is fast spent, and I know we're managing time. My contact and the other team member will be dropped. We are glad to give you full details of any inquiry you want to make. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
All right, thanks. So the next step, obviously, as you said, the email, your Ivy League email is very important. So that's what you're going to be using to access the videos. You need to download the Authenticator app. So next step, familiarize yourself with ACCA resources. ACCA resources are embedded in your preparation process. So, for example, as a student of ACCA, once you've registered, you have the study hub, open to you, which you can access through My ACCA. The study text that is in the study hub is the official text we want you to use. But also beyond that, we've also partnered with BPP. BPP is also a global leader in ACCA tuition, and if you need, textbooks or exam kits, and you want to get these soft copies that are quite interactive, has heavily discounted rates, we are also able to make that available to you. In fact, for some selected papers, so the next step is watch pre-recorded lectures. So the pre-recorded lectures for the vast majority of papers have been provided by, our tutors. There's something I must say. For knowledge papers, which is FA, MA, or AB, Accountants in Business, or the Foundation FIA equivalent papers, the classes will still be live classes every weekend for now. So the issue of bi-weekly and bi-weekly pre-recorded lectures and all of that is really for the skill paper up to professional level. For knowledge paper, because we recognize that most of the people taking knowledge level need a closer level of attention with their tutors, we have maintained two things. We have maintained live classes to be every weekend rather than 2 weeks break. At some point during the diet, that will change to align with skills, but the initial 5 weekends will be live classes every weekend across all the standard lectures for those papers, the knowledge level papers. Another thing as well is there is still face-to-face lectures for knowledge papers. So, you studied engineering, you're just coming into accounting, and, we don't want to leave this thing to you. So we want you to still have those interaction as frequently as possible with your tutor. So you still have the online option or the face-to-face option for the knowledge and foundation papers. But for the skills and professionals, all the papers there have been pre-recorded. For a few of them, such as PM Law, CBL is Corporate and Business Law, PM is Performance Management, Advanced Performance Management, and Advanced Financial Management. The pre-recorded lectures are in partnership with BPP. Okay, while for all the other papers, the pre-recorded lectures were done by our tutors at Ivy League. Okay, so you have that mixture. You're going to be getting more details on those ones with BBP for those selected papers, but for the vast majority, they've been recorded by, you know, our tutors. And remember, there will still be live classes as well. And then you should do your weekly assignments. At some point during the diet, there will be progress tests, which will be debriefed with you. And then you register for revision once it's time for revision. Register as well to take to take our live mock exams, which is also very important. We also advise that you do a self-assessed mock. We'll guide you on how to do that later on. One of the videos we're going to be sharing with you is how to mark your own scripts yourself. You know, how does ACCA, how do they award marks, and how can you use that to mark any test or mock exams or any question that you are attempting or that you have attempted yourself, okay? And then obviously the end product is to take the exams, whether it's on demand, which you can write in our premises at ACCA, our prices are the best you will find in the environment, or whether they are session-based, which takes place March, June, September, or December, okay? This is what our timetable looks like. You can take a screenshot of that. Sorry, there was somebody who asked a question earlier on that I don't think we addressed. She was asking if this video will be made available. Definitely, immediately after the open day, it's going to be uploaded on our YouTube page. So please, you can go to our YouTube page, Ivy League Associates, you know, and you will see the entire open day video there as well. Okay. And now I think it's a good time to take all those questions that have been hanging. If you have time to wait, you know, to listen to the questions, maybe it's also helpful for you, please do. But if you have to leave because, you know, it's past the time allocated for this, we do appreciate you coming in today, you know, and joining our open day, and we do believe we hope it's been helpful. Here is our social media. Okay, I think I might not have that here, but I'm going to put it up. Our social media pages. You can you know, pretty much join us or follow us, and then the contact details of our admin team will be dropped on the chat box, where we can as well take that. So let's take questions now. So manager, over to you. Just help coordinate this.
All right, sir. So, we have a couple of people raise their hand. I would like to start with Mr. Richard. Please, let's have your question. I'm sure to lower your hand when you are done with your question. So, Mr. Richard, can you unmute and ask your question, please? Okay, if Mr. Richard is not ready, can we have Abara? Sorry if I didn't pronounce the name very well. Abara, can we have your question?
Abara, sorry. Good morning.
Okay.
And Happy New Year to all of us. Okay, so I've actually been in contact with somebody from Ivy League, and I'm happy to register for my classes, for the standard classes, which starts next week. However, I have some questions about the ACCA approach generally. There's this thing about the ethics model. I really do not know how it works, so I would need clarity on it if I can get that. Then secondly, the 3 years experience. I'm currently working. I've been working as an accountant for I think almost 3 years now. So I don't really know how that works. How am I supposed to add that to my profile on ACCA? I would also need guidance on that. Then with regards to the exam, do the tutors offer a kind of combination strategy? Because honestly, I've been registered for ACCA, I think since 2 years ago. So I've been paying subscription, but I've not been taking any paper because I've never felt so well prepared for it. Although I tried to use the self-study route, but it's not been working, which is why I'm actually considering to use a learning provider. So I would love to know if there is any combination, because I intend writing 2 papers. It would be good if I can get an advice as to how many papers or what papers I'm to write to maximize my time and the effort I'll be putting in. So if that's possible, if I can get that, that would be nice. So, okay, and Mr. Sheyi mentioned getting study text on the website. I wanted to find out if that is sufficient, to read when I combine with my classes, then pass the exam, or I still need to get either Kaplan or BPP. So that will be all from my side.
Mr. Sheyi, would you like to respond to, or do we collate the questions?
Okay, let's take it in batches of 2.
Okay, Madam Abara, you can mute your mic and lower your hand. Oseto Ame, can we hear from you, Oseto Ame? Please unmute and ask your question.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, sir. My question is, so I'm currently still in the university. I'm in my 2nd year currently. So the ACC was just introduced to us like sometime in November. So I'm asking because they advised us to write the exams March. They advised us to start writing our exams in March. And then Mr. Sheyi has said he's not advising us to do that since we're just that. I started reading for the exams during the holiday. And yes, so that's my question. Is it like, whose advice do I take? Do I write the exams now in March, or do I wait till June to write the exams? Also, currently, I'm thinking of writing only one, which is financial management. Is what I started studying during the holiday, and I feel like I've gone a bit far with studying. I use the study hub to study, so I feel like it's going smoothly. That's one of my questions. And then my second question is, what is the pass mark for ACCA? Like, what is the percentage that requires that I have successfully passed this paper? And then my third question is concerning these tutorials. I don't know if it's possible because here in school we haven't been told that the tutorials would, I don't know, they haven't made provisions for us to, engage in these tutorials. And I don't know if it's possible that if we can get materials to study here in school, since it's not flexible for us as well. Yes, and also the subscription, because subscription is $10 a year, and I don't know if it's possible because I asked my level advisor, as the person advising us for this exam, and then she said that as a student, we're not expected to pay the £10 for, I don't know, I feel like we're not getting enough information here in school. I don't know if you could assist with that. So those are my questions.
All right, thank you, Ose. Okay, so let me go back to the questions from Abara, and I will please plead, whether manager, you captured everything, because I was in the middle of something at that point. So there was a part of a question that I did not capture, but I know she asked questions around text to use. Do we need, BPP? Do we need Kaplan? Do we need, in addition to Ivy League, in addition to ACCA materials? So that's pretty straightforward. We've standardized that. The materials you will get from Ivy League are your video lectures and the slides or materials that were used by the tutors to produce those video lectures. Okay, So for example, because as you listen to the lectures, you want to make annotations, you want to have your own record, you can print them, you can have them on your computer, make annotations beside it, you know. So that's that. And then obviously the questions that will be solved in class, you will have that. And then as the tutor solves the question, the spreadsheet or CBE platform used, they will PDF it or they will give you the raw spreadsheet and they will upload it on Teams, your class material folder. So as always, you can always go to your class material folder on Teams, access those things there and download it and use it subsequently. So that's that, Ivy League. The official textbook that we believe you can use to complement your lectures is the ACCA Study Hub materials, the ACCA Study Hub materials, okay? Now, if you want to do anything far and beyond that, okay, so for example, some students will say, oh, I love BPP exam kit because it groups all the past questions by topic. You know, it shows me how to attempt this question. You know, I can track, it's virtual, it's interactive and things like that. Or I prefer their own textbook is what I've been using, you know, moving to this level. I still want it. So that's when I then said, we've actually entered into an agreement with BPP to make these materials available to you at a very discounted price. In fact, you will get it at least 60% 60% difference from whatever you see in the market. Do you understand? Like 60% discount off whatever you see in the market in respect of this material. So, but again, what your tutor gives you in the classroom and then the ACCA Study Hub material, that's the most fundamental materials, okay? Manager, can you help me with the other questions? I know she asked about 3 questions, please.
So she also asked about what could be the best combination of papers to take if she wants to take it.
Yeah, for optional papers. Okay, so good question. And I'm sure others may also have 1 or 2 questions around that. So there are various considerations. I will try to highlight them, okay? And I think we still have Jonathan on the call. So Jonathan as well, please, if you by any means feel you need to add to 1 or 2 points, please feel free to come off mute as well. One is, how did I perform with my skill papers, you know, the equivalent skill papers? Was it exciting to me? Did I enjoy it, etc.? You know, that could be a consideration, okay? 2 is, what do I really want to do? So as I said earlier on, if you're an auditor or you love audit, you may probably want to do advanced audit and assurance. If you love financial reporting, you know, advanced audit and assurance is probably more likened to financial reporting than any of the other optional papers. If you like more of strategy, you know, more of business performance management, and obviously APM is the way to go. If you are more, you know, quantitative focus, you want to be an investment manager, an asset manager, core finance, corporate finance, you know, fundraising and all those things is more exciting to you, risk management, you probably want to go down the route of advanced financial management, where you'll be learning things around, you know, mergers and acquisition, corporate reorganizations, sources of finance, and all those things. So that's probably another consideration, right? Pass rate is not something that you should be looking at because they all have somewhat similar pass rates. Maybe some are a bit better than others, but they're quite similar. An average of 3 to 4 students out of every 10 students pass the paper. So it's usually between 30% and 40% in terms of the pass rate. Another consideration would probably be what excites you, right? So aside what you currently do, you also want to ensure it's a paper that once you carry the text, you are happy to read it, or you are happy to listen to lectures, or you are happy coming to classes, you're looking forward to it, you know. So that's probably something else again that you may want to consider, you know. But obviously, one of the things we can ensure is for the first set of classes happening next weekend, you may be able to join that, you know, across the 4 papers, right? So that you listen to the tutor as they give the overview, as they sell the paper, as they let you know what it entails, and then you can make your decision. Okay, what's the third question?
Sorry, Shay, this Jonathan, let me add to something, and there's also a point on EPSM. I actually put it on the chat just in case. Okay, so the first point still on paper combination. I mean, in addition to all the things you've said, I think that for me would be that let a candidate also think about what they want to do, which is something you've said. Where do you sort of see yourself? You know, what sort of career path are you trying to build? And he's giving very good pointers as to maybe AFM can work for you, or APM. I also was speaking to someone yesterday who's moved to the UK, and they're seeing opportunities around leveraging ATX for understanding the UK tax laws. So I think, again, so that can also help. But I would make a point that as you get to the strategic professional level, even in the skills, when I mean skills, or in the way the questions are being tested, the emphasis is a lot on application. So it's also very important that experiences as well too. That's why I think you can liken it to where you want to build a career around. Experiences, you know, something you're passionate about doing also comes into play. It will really help you a lot, right? So and I also think that if you look at even the way our lecture timetables are, that can also be one driver for you as well too. So that load. So even though you like to do a couple of papers, but you might also want to look at the way we've sort of structured the timetable so that it can be very convenient for you. I want to speak about EPSM for 2 reasons. One is that it's critical that before you start to do most of the papers, if not even all of the papers at the strategic professional level, that you attempt the EPSM. The EPSM is actually called the Ethics and Professional Skills Modules, and there's a lot of knowledge around professional skills, which I think apart from SBR currently, every other paper has these professional skills, you know, as part of 20% of the exams, and they're quite a significant portion of those exams. So things like understanding skills like commercial acumen, communication, analysis, skepticism, evaluation, you know, and these are things that are covered extensively, you know, how to demonstrate these skills, what they mean within that EPSM. So there's a strong recommendation that it might be best that you actually do them, you know, as you're about starting your strategic professional papers. Again, before you even become an ACCA member, so there are 3 core E's, which Shay had mentioned earlier on, you know, exam experience, right? And then ethics. Ethics is demonstrated by passing that, I mean, beyond, you know, every other thing that will be required, maybe even in the PAL, but ethics is one way to also demonstrate that is also by successfully completing and passing that ethics and professional skills module. So even if you don't even do it for the sake of, you know, your professional exams, you also would need to do it before you become an ACCA member. The fees have witnessed some adjustment, right? But currently it is £75. It's a one-off fee, so there's nothing like failing that particular module. Once you pay the fee, for as long as you don't pass, right, you would keep on having the opportunity to keep writing, you know, to keep attempting them. And it's very interactive. The time period for that is something around 20 hours, but I've seen a lot of people cover it within 15 hours. So if you give yourself 2 weekends or a week, if you can spread the workload, it's possible to start it and finish that as well too. So I think it's more important to do them, if you ask me, as you are in the strategic professional stage. Thank you.
Manager, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir. So I think you
also
talked about 3 years.
Oh,
so there's
sorry?
a question that is still left out now. There's a question that is still left out. She also asks about the 3-year working experience. At what time will this 3 years start counting? Is it after I'm qualified or I've gathered enough experience? Does that count for me, part of my PR?
Okay, great. So remember that when I spoke about that, I emphasized that you can earn the 3 years experience or the 36-month experience before, during, or after your ACCA, or a combination of all of it. They all count, okay? As long as you can still identify a workplace supervisor who is able to sign off and confirm that you truly met those objectives, those performance objectives. And again, I said there is a webinar that had been hosted and published by ACCA. You can see the title on my screen, and you can search for that on YouTube, and that will take you through all the details you need. And if you have any other specific question, we're happy to help. All right, moving on to the question from Ose. Now, whether you write March exam or June exam depends on your circumstance, okay? From what I hear from you, in terms of you've been using the study hub, you feel you are prepared, you've been attempting questions, but you probably just need guide on how to maybe hand easy marks, exam techniques, and things like that. You may be able to do March exams, okay? And you can join the intensive class, which started today. Now, however, March is not always something March or September exams is not something we would always say everybody should work with, because it only gives you that window of, 7 to 8 weeks, unless you have been preparing before that time, okay? So if you feel, oh yes, I've taken lectures before, full lectures before, or I've been self-studying and I've done very well in terms of self-studying, or I've attempted the paper before I want to resit, then you may consider March. But otherwise, we would say June. So it's a function of how well do you feel confident about your preparation, and the decision on whether to write June or March, is really your choice, okay? So obviously, I mean, I don't know if your school has rules on when you can write or when you can't write, or maybe your schedule in school as well, in terms of school exams, you may want to consider all of that. Okay, but from what I hear from you, I think you can do March, but you need to just remember that it will be a lot of, effort ensuring that you're able to cover what you need to cover within the next 7 or 8 weeks, okay? Pass mark is 50%. It's 50% across all papers. And yeah, I think that's for that. Okay, back to you, manager.
Right, thank you. When there's a part of the question about not having access to study, just for us to reach out, the possibility of arranging something for our school, so that we can help yourself and your colleagues, your classmates, to achieve your ACCA goal. So at this point, I want to invite Veronica. Veronica.
Okay, hi. Thank you very much. So my questions are this. So I'm just about to start my ACCA or the ACCA journey, right? And I found out that I'm supposed to start from the applied knowledge level. And I was hoping, or the plan was to write or take it during March, but from what I heard now, you said it was on demand. So I don't really understand what you mean by on demand. Does it mean that it doesn't work like the March, June, September, and December session. Like I get to write it whenever I feel like I want to write it. Also, the intention was sorry. Hello.
Sorry, Veronica,
just go on.
go
Just
ahead.
go on.
Go ahead.
Okay. Also, I before I heard about the on-demand session, the plan was to write it during March, right? But I was thinking, or I kind of hoped, I wish I could write 2 papers, maybe FA and MA during March. I mean, I work full time, right? But I don't know how the whole ACCA syllabus is, or how large or how well I need to read, or how much time I need to dedicate to it, right? So I was hoping I could get insight from you whether it's possible for me to work or to do the both, so FA and MA, and be able to write it if it's in March, right? Or not. So yeah. And I was also going to register with Ivy League. Well, that's the plan. But you had mentioned that for those that are just starting, you advise to go for the standard classes. And yeah, which also speaks to June, writing exam in June. So those are my questions, Fasi. And if you think that I should just take it one step at a time, like write FA first and then MA,
Yeah.
But I actually want to use the
So Veronica, sorry, I have to cut in. Let's try to keep the question very straight and succinct so that we can, take other people as well. The answer to your question is actually very straightforward. We don't offer lectures for FAMA, BT for March exams, okay? And there's even nothing like March exams. You're correct, it's on demand. It's anytime you feel, oh, I'm prepared, I can write this exam. You just talk to the team at Ivy League. They will schedule you for the exam. You're going to be taking it at Ivy League. It's computer-based. Okay, but so does it, as a school, do we prepare students to be able to sit the paper in March? Not directly, but indirectly, it depends. So if you join lectures now, that lecture is going to end somewhere in April. But if you feel by the end of March, oh, you're confident, you've read ahead of the class, the remaining topics, you're able to take care of it yourself. We've had some people that have done that. You can register for the exam and sit the exam. As I said, registering for exam is just to tell the team, pay, and they book a date for you and you go to the premises to write it. If you need more details, manager will be, and you can call those numbers as well. They will be on ground to provide those details, okay? But again, I will generally say, take your time to prepare, so that you're really well prepared. But if you feel, oh, I'm confident, I've practiced a lot of questions, and I can do it by end of March, then by all means go for it. Okay.
So Nkechi, can we have a question?
Okay, good morning and thank you for the opportunity. I took FM in December. The results will be out on Monday. I'm thinking that if I pass, I could go for AFM. I hope that is fine. What do you think? For March?
Yes, that is fine. AFM for March.
Yes, please.
Have you written AFM before? Have you prepared for it before?
No, that's why I gave the background to say that I did FM.
Okay.
And if I
that will not be my advice. That will not be my advice. My advice would be to pace it and prepare for at least June. Okay. But again, remember, these are all advice, and we're giving this advice based on our experience. I am not by any means saying I've not seen students who are miracle workers, okay? I've seen students who, I would have advised take June and they are so, focused on doing it in March. They put in the hard work and they still pass, okay? But that's not the ideal thing. Manager.
Okay, I hear you. If AFM is not advisable to
all right,
which other
you can
one?
please lower your hand. Emmanuel. I think what he's trying to explain is not limited to AFM, but across all the papers. You understand? Across all the papers. It is not advisable. If you've been reading, for example, since you wrote your FM in December and you started reading, whether it's AFM, you are reading APM, SBR, or SBL, within that time and now, that'll be close to 6 weeks. Then you can be saying, okay, I've covered a huge part of the syllabus. I can write any paper in March. But coming out fresh from this time to a class where you have 7 weeks of lectures and you have a syllabus to cover, you are expected to write some mock exams in between all this in 7 weeks. Maybe an Herculean task. That's why we always discourage that why not space it and write in June.
Yeah, and just to add, so the way we've structured our lectures now, even for intensive, there's an increased incentive for more people to say, oh, I want to do intensive lectures. It's faster, it's quicker. The way Ivy League has structured it is such that I still have access to the entire video syllabus, because intensive before now used to be live classes only. We just do a quick review of the topic and we move on to question practice, because the time is so short. But now, since everything has been pre-recorded, you have 1 week to review the recording for the next class, and then another week again for the next one, another week. So there's a temptation to say, oh, yeah, I mean, the way they've structured it now makes it ideal to write March or September exams. But the truth is still a lot, okay? Unless you are really in a position to say, I have the time to put in the hard work, I wouldn't say go for it, okay? I'll rather say, plan to take your exams in June.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Manager, are we done? Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, Nkechi. Okay, can you please ask a question? We can wrap up for today.
Okay, so I think let's just take 2 more questions and we will just have to wrap up. Please, if you have any other question, contact details are on the screen. You can WhatsApp those numbers. They will be happy to respond. So I think we just give Michael and Emmanuel the floor. So Michael, go ahead, please.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. My question is very direct. I think sometime earlier in the session, I heard a mention of one not being able to on the deep IFRS part,
panel is not
and as well as do same on the AC. Pardon?
Manager, I think he's struggling with his network. Michael, please go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying earlier in the session, I heard it being said that one cannot register for both the deep IFRS and then the ACCA pathway. I just wanted some clarification on that. So I'm an ICANN holder. I've attempted the deep IFRS before, unsuccessfully though. So I was considering taking it again. And alongside that, I was also considering upscaling to the ACCA by getting the exemptions and taking the necessary papers, all within this first 6 months of this year. So how do I structure this following that comment I heard? I don't know if I even heard it correctly.
Good point, Michael. Good point, Michael. I heard that comment from manager as well, and I must admit I did not know there was a restriction that you can't be doing ACCA exams and also doing diploma at the same time. So manager, do you want to clarify, is that what you meant?
Yes, you have to be done with one, then write to ACCA to convert you to, for example, if you decide to write diploma in IFRS, you must be done with diploma in IFRS, then send an email to ACCA to convert your studentship to ACCA qualification. So you can't have two registration number with ACCA. You can only have one that can either be for ACCA or diploma in IFRS. You can't use both for same examination at the same time. You have to finish one, then convert.
Okay, so as I said earlier, he knows how these things work. So I think that's accurate. Emmanuel, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. I have 1 or 2 questions, though I'm already engaging with Ivy League. I've been taking ACC exams before now, but I've been having issues with taxation, UK variant. And the challenge I've had has gotten to do with my very tight schedules. So I've gotten 42, 45, 48, but I just decided to come back after a long while. But I discovered that I may need to take the tax paper with SBL in June. So I've settled for that I'm going that route. But the challenge I have is that my career responsibilities require that I shuttle between Nigeria and the Netherlands. But I've checked here, checked online. I can't find an exam center in the Netherlands. Maybe I didn't check well. So I want to find out how do I confirm that so that I will be sure I don't have to come to Nigeria if I have to be in the Netherlands period of exam in June.
Okay, I doubt if there won't be a center in Amsterdam or somewhere in Netherlands. It's strange, but we can check. But if there is none, there will certainly be one around the area, maybe in neighboring countries where you can just use a train to move there. So you can check that as well. But I also know ACCA seems to have this what's it called? Remote invigilation.
Remotely invigilated, yes.
Yeah, so
Yes,
you
I
can do
read
it from
about
the
that.
comfort of your home. So that's also another option that is available to you. Okay. All right. In the absence of any other comments from my colleagues, if there is any, but otherwise, thank you everyone for joining our open day. We do hope it's been useful. Again, as I said, the videos will be uploaded on our YouTube page. You can go through it if you missed any session. And you can always follow us on social media. Our website is there. These phone numbers are the phone numbers of our team. They will be very happy to help you with any inquiries that you have. Manager, any final thing from you?
Yeah, just to appreciate everybody. And then I know we still have about 5 hands raised. You can drop your question on the chat. We will take them and respond to it immediately. Thank you, sir.
All
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So type your questions in the chat box and we'll respond to it from there. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the day and hope to see you in the class this weekend or next weekend. Bye-bye.